This could be a big mistake.
Mistake?
If they could do that to a wall, imagine what they could do to our heads.
For sure. And our heads are nowhere near that big.
Speak for yourself.
Turtles. Yeah, and we didn't make that hole, you wacko.
Oh no.
Yeah, you wacko. Hey everybody. Welcome Neb. Hey Hankin. As some of you may know, my name's Dave. This is my buddy Dan over here.
Hey.
Dan, would you like to introduce yourself to the fine folks watching?
Sure, my name's Dan. I don't have a ton of turtle credentials other than I'm just a huge turtle fan. Love the show, love the figures, and my heart beats green. I'm here for my love, man.
Hell yeah. So, as some of you may remember, I'm a huge what up, Scene? As some of you know, I'm a huge turtle fan. Look, I even outfitted the set today. We got a bunch of the paraphernalia out. Hey Tuck, how's it going? What up, Hankin? I already said.
Hankin, what's going on, man?
Yeah.
Oh, some Nintendo shout-outs in there. There you go. Somebody's taking a look on my background too. Yeah.
Right.
I didn't have time to reorganize my setup. I plan to get some turtle stuff in here. Normally I do some video game talks. I do some wrestling talks. This is my first Ninja Turtle podcast. I did. If you take a look here, that's a Michelangelo figure. And then I've got a Genghis.
Think, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I could not be a weatherman, but there's a Genghis Khan right there by the Power Glove.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, man. No, I thought it'd be kind of fun. I grabbed legit my childhood Mikey figure that is actually on one of my all-time favorite vehicles right here, the Cheapskate.
Oh, the Cheapskate. There you go. That's the first Cheapskate. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's the cool thing is over the years I managed to collect 4 of them, so I have all 4 of my OG turtles on Cheapskates.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, Cheapskate is it lives up to the name. Like when I was a kid, like collecting turtles, like the Cheapskate was the cheap toy. I feel like everybody had it, and it wasn't like loved at the time. But now looking back on it, it's one of the staples.
It's so good. It was so good, and like between that, it was a tie between that. Oh man.
I saw in the chat somebody was talking about N64 boxes.
Hey man, that Turtles in Time box, like still, I have an 11x17 print of that art that I found at a show. It definitely was a bootleg, but I love that cover.
Dude, you can't beat this. The artwork alone, I remember seeing this in Toys R Us, and the walking up on that, back when Toys R Us was a thing, you would go to Toys R Us, they wouldn't have the video games in the aisle. Yeah. All they would have would be the ticket system. And the ticket system would be like the picture of the artwork, and then under it you would take the ticket, and you take the ticket, you'd go pay for it, and then you'd go to that magical room where you exchange the ticket. Oh, they brought out the game, and that was to work in that room. If you could somehow sneak your way into that room, that was heaven.
Oh, it would have been so good. Tuck, how long till Super 7 does the Cheapskate? You know, I could easily see them doing that one because it's an affordable one. Same thing with this guy right here.
Oh, sure. Another classic. Absolutely.
I could see those 2 being easy draws. At the same time, NECA's already talked about they have the turtle van ready to go.
I don't know how that's going to work. They haven't shown any pictures of it, right?
Exactly. No, there hasn't been any show. Like they've shown the blueprints basically.
Okay, that's more than I haven't even seen that. I'm very excited and terrified to see how big this thing is going to be.
Dude, I legit was going to grab my party wagon, which I have the 25th anniversary repro of it, up on the shelf. But then my original one is actually up in my son's room because I gave it to him, and it was well loved. It is still well loved, and I was like, oh, I'll bring that down. It'll be kind of a fun artifact, and I totally spaced.
That's okay. Hopefully, this is the first of many shows that we can show off all of our toys.
Right.
I'm surprised they were able to pull out a Cheapskate and the motorcycle and the figures. I have all of my stuff in a display case, which eventually I'll show on the show. But it's all tucked away. Like I can't get to any of my stuff because it's all like meticulously placed and posed, and I have to tiptoe by the case because if the ground shakes, everything's going to tip over. I'm very jealous of your bravery in bringing all those onto on here live.
Well, okay, so legit, I think I've shown you the shelf. I know I've shown it on other streams and stuff in the past. I just rearranged because I had like the Technodrome kind of attacking the diorama. And I was like, that's cool. And then I was gifted a NECA diorama, like the non-turtle branded one. So I'm like, oh, put that up. And it's really cool. But like my Technodrome now is sitting on the ground. I'm like,
it got bumped out.
Yeah, so I gotta figure some stuff out for that.
Do you have the turtle cartoon diorama pre-ordered?
Yes. And that was the funny thing is I was actually talking to Mark about this.
Mark is pissed.
I was like, I have the movie diorama and I'll have the cartoon diorama. That'll be a really cool juxtaposition of those two. And then this one got sent to me and I'm like, I don't know.
It's small.
Huh?
It's small, right? Is that what you're like? I feel like there's too many, at least for the cartoon line. There are way too many figures to be able to fit on this thing.
It's the same diorama that they've put out twice already.
Sure.
The cool thing is they have the Channel 6 news tower going up, which I plan on putting some pizza monsters on because I think that'd be pretty fun.
Oh, hell, there you go. I like that.
King Kong style. But yeah, there's no way it'll fit everybody. But at the same time, it's like I admire that they're doing that. I really hope they start doing modular stuff of like you can swap out this panel for this, or
that'd be great.
Where it's just goofy.
Allow us some difference. Like you said, it's the third time they've released this backdrop, which is great, and they've themed it to the cartoon set. But give us something more. You're giving us the turtle van. Give us something to put a home base for our guys, or give us some sort of tech. They had the Technodrome backdrop at that San Diego Comic-Con show. Yep. Where I think they revealed the same show that they revealed the Tokan Razor.
Yep, because they had all the little nods to Slash and a bunch of figures.
Yes, a bunch of teases there. Yeah, so if they can now, who knows how much they spent on that? Maybe it's not feasible to release it to the public, but something along those lines would be fantastic, just to give us more options for guys like me who are not like you, who can't make our own dioramas, who rely on these companies to pump these out. We need that stuff.
Oh yeah, what's up, Pale Aragorn? Oh, Neb, sorry, I missed your comment. Do you think the Super 7 Thunder Tank price is relative to size or just more in line with Super 7 branding? Kind of curious how they would price vehicles.
So he's referring to if they did make a turtle van, like we suspect they are going to, that party wagon would have to be huge, and we have to assume that the price tag is going to be huge along with it.
That Thunder Tank, though, legit, I want to say it's like 2.5 feet.
It's a coffee table. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gigantic. I mean, I think the turtle van, might be a little, like 18 inches.
I would think it would be definitely smaller. I would hope it'd be smaller than but who knows? I mean, it'd be taller. But like shorter, squattier. We'll see. I'm excited. Whatever it is, I'll order it. But
any way, shape, or form, if it comes out, I'm a sucker for it. Like legit. The funny thing is, the only vehicles that I never was like gaga for were the Shell Razors, as those came out.
Which one's the Shell Razor?
The Shell Razor was from like the 2003 series. The 2012 series was technically.
Oh yes. Like dark green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've got a 5-year-old. My 5-year-old is going nuts with turtle stuff. He's gone through like 3 of those. They're almost like dioramas. They're the tall, like 3-foot.
Oh yeah,
layers that have the street thing on top, but they're not made wonderfully.
No,
they're very like you put a couple figures on there and it starts tipping forward. It looks cool if you don't have anybody on it, but I'm very familiar with what the Shell Razor is. I just didn't know the name.
It's mostly cardboard. Legit on the other side of this wall, right behind my camera, there's a storage space under the stairs, and I set up one of those, and I actually just. I staple gunned it to the
sure. There you go.
There. So that's my son. My son's 4, and it's the same thing. I'm like, well, this way it's gonna stay there, and like he can put it in the sewer layer.
He made it rough. Yeah, it's durable at that point. Do you now like my love for turtles is the original cartoon, all 3 of the movies, including the 3rd movie.
Yeah.
And the original line of figures. All the merch from like the late 80s, early 90s, and then NECA stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I am totally out except for a few very select things. Like I will get well, I guess that's still NECA. I was going to say I'm going to get the Bebop and Rocksteady pirate set from the video games. That's the only two video game guys that I'm getting. I'm doing all the cartoons and all the movies, but at a point I had to draw the line. So I wasn't getting the arcade guys. And I don't do any Super 7. I don't do any of the 2003, the 2011 or 14 or whatever whenever the remakes were. Yeah. So what are you investing?
I'm kind of cross the board. I'm a comic artist, so like I love the comics. Like legit, the Archie comics were kind of what introduced me to Turtles, along with the cartoon, like the '80s cartoon.
Okay, wow, that's not common. Most guys our age. You're almost 40, right?
I'm 34.
Oh my God, you're young too. Jesus Christ, man. So I was saying, like, guys. Okay, apparently, guys my age, for the most part, they didn't follow the comic. We weren't on board with the comic. We only got on board after the comic took off a little bit, and they spurred the cartoon show. Yeah, and that's what really got everybody going.
And that was the thing, is the Eastman and Laird run. I actually didn't really jump into like the Turtle comics outside of the Archie books, because the Archie books, like, you could get at gas stations, you could get, at the grocery store, in addition to comic shops and whatnot. So I remember I think it was issue 12 and issue 18, if I remember correctly. I got them randomly on a road trip or something. That, along with the
these are what year are the Archie comics? When did they start? Do you know?
Those would have been, I want to say 90. Hold on.
Okay, so it was later. Yeah, we've got a little bit of technology. So it was later. I was actually thinking of the Laird and Eastman comics, but those are the ones that really kickstarted everything.
Yeah, no, for sure.
How popular were the Archie comics?
The Archie comics, they had a good run. I mean, they went well through the mid 90s.
Okay, I know what they are now that you're bringing. Like, they're not as dark. They're much more colorful. The art style is different. I know them because I frequent Goodwill. If you listen to me on any other podcast, I go to Goodwill constantly, and I always see them at Goodwill. I wasn't into them. Like I said, I was only a merch guy around that time, not including the comic books, and the figures around that time. I didn't get into even the chapter books. I didn't get into around that time.
So it ran 72 issues. It started in August of '88 and went through '95. So
okay, long run.
So it was around for a pretty solid run, and it was definitely a monthly. Like, I remember that, and they were putting out like digest collections and stuff out of all that stuff. But it was definitely one of those things of, I remember reading these and being like so involved in those, and like we didn't have like a ton of money for toys and stuff. Like, we had the 4 turtles, we had a couple of bad guys, then it was a couple random here, for a birthday you might get like 2 or 3 or whatnot, and it was awesome. And so I was so engrossed by the toys, and the cartoon was always Saturday morning, and like the 2 VHS tapes that I think we got from Burger King.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And it just kind of took off from there. Like 2003, I was in high school. I was super into the 2003 because I was just getting into kind of the backside of animation and stuff. So the lead character
that early,
there
really? Was. I'm sure you. I was saying that early in your life, you were getting into animation and like the behind the scenes and the how-to and how the stuff's getting made. That's crazy, man.
Well, so Jeff Matsuda was the lead character designer on there. He also designed the Batman and Jackie Chan adventures. Were like his 2 big ones that had like a lot of exposure. And he also did like a small run on a couple comics here or there. He did a couple issues on Wolverine. So like, I was engrossed by that because I was like, oh my God, I want to learn how to draw like this guy.
Sure.
So like, I remember legit like watching those episodes, like trying to sketch, and it never turned out.
13, 14 years old?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow, man, you had your stuff under, like, you knew what you wanted to do and you ran with it. I was a mess at 13 and 14. I'm rollerblading to Taco Bell and watching wrestling all day.
Oh my God, dude, there definitely was a lot of that too. It was that thing of, like I was probably one of the few high school, freshmen in high school that was sitting there like, I'm gonna watch Saturday morning cartoons. I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit,
Dude, that's I love that now. I mean, at the time, I would have called you a nerd, and I would have been wrong. But
you would have been totally right. I'm a huge nerd.
I'm envious of that man now.
Born and raised.
There you go.
But it was that thing of like the 2012 series came about, after I was out of college and everything. But I knew some people that were working on it. that I knew from like DeviantArt and some of those sites and stuff, like artist
Sure.
sites and forums. So I was like, new turtle cartoon. I know some of the people working on it. Like they said that it's going to take from every kind of chapter in turtle history.
That's cool.
I'm really curious to see what the hell it is. And I will fully admit I was sucked into that show. I watched the shit out of it.
That's awesome.
And Ollie really likes it too. So
I was gonna say I got into not the newest one. Maybe it is the 2012. I don't even know what I'm watching now.
2012 was the CG looking one. Rise of the TMNT was the more like Flash animation. Raph was the leader, had the like.
No. It was the one before that. It might be the 2012 one where they do have like there's a crossover episode where when I said crossover, they're crossing over whatever the current turtle was with a dimension from the 80s one. Is that the 2012?
Yep, that's the 2012 series.
Oh, I loved it. So my kid got super into that. That's the one with like Fish Face and Dog Pound. Yes. All that stuff. We have all those figures downstairs. We have all the play sets down there.
They're so good. They're horribly scaled, but I love
who cares? It doesn't matter, and the kids don't care either.
Legit, like the first release of the 4 turtles are some of my favorite turtle figures that I own, and I actually did like a dark wash on the Mikey.
Oh, that's awesome!
And it's like the sculpt is there, like it looks
like the character from the show. I think they nailed it.
Dude, the by far the most kick-ass version of those figures was from Reveltech. I mean, Reveltech has some pain in the ass joints, but let me grab one real quick.
Oh,
but
sure.
First, we have a couple folks in the chat. I haven't had a turtle figure since I was a kid. If I can get the turtles in disguise in Australia, I might pick them up. But I think the turtles for my collection may be the mechs. They are amazing looking. Have you seen those, Dan?
Which ones, the mechs or the disguise?
I know you've seen the disguise, the Dreamex TMNT ones.
No, I don't know what that is.
Hold on, let's see if I literally have pulled up the Twitter link enough times that it's like, do you mean this?
Let's see these things.
Share the screen. So they're basically Gundam turtles.
Who makes these?
A company called Dreamex. They just showed the first prototype, like grayed out prototype.
Okay.
But
what scale are these? Do we know?
It looks like they're like 8 or 9 inches. Like, so they're gonna be slightly bigger, I think.
I'm okay with that. The big beefy figure, I'm all about. That's
man.
Wow.
Leo with the shield.
These are unbelievable.
Donnie, and there's a shredder too that for some odd reason doesn't show up in these ones specifically.
That's okay.
But one of the nerdtacular things, little arms, big arms.
Right? Absolutely, man.
My favorite, Mikey's got the friggin' missiles or torpedoes rather from the party van.
Oh, look at that. Oh man.
It's so dang goofy.
I'm sure these are going to be $150 a piece, but
I'm sure. But it did call back to these bad boys.
I don't even know what those are.
These were the turtlenecks. They came out kind of when Exo Squad and everything was so popular in like the early 90s.
This was after my time. I had to be out of it by now.
This was way towards the end, like towards the end of the line. Same thing with these guys.
Yeah, these I know. I definitely know. I don't know their names, but I know the line. So what is you've been pulling out turtle after turtle after turtle from any line we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Do you have a complete sets of any of the lines, or is it just like the hits, whatever you're interested in?
So I started basically, I was picking them up here and there. It's like I'd always try and get the 4 turtles, and then it hit me that I'm like, I should try to do that. I should try and pick up the 4 turtles from the iterations of everything that I really like.
Yeah.
And so obviously the Turtles in Disguise that just came out.
Very jealous.
I think these might be the best the best cartoon product that has come out, in my opinion. The movie
they've always been off, right? Like nobody can get the facial features correct. Nobody can get the sizing of the eyes or the mouth structure correct. And I agree with you. I love the way that these look.
Yeah.
For the most part, I definitely have my gripes with on some of them.
There's some things that are a little off, but
and I think it's just the combinations that you do. Sometimes if you put the wrong eyes with the wrong face, I think it doesn't look right. But if you play with it enough, you will find a dead on. That's exactly what it looked like from the cartoon. Yeah, go ahead, man. While he's away, we could take a look at the background. Look at all this stuff back here. He's got his turtle set up there. Even like I'm not just a turtle guy. Like I like the Marvel Legends stuff too. That Juggernaut is freaking huge.
These are the Revoltech turtles.
Okay, those I've seen.
They are stunning in my opinion.
Right. I know that multiple companies have done it, but I like that the plastic weapon for Michelangelo.
The spinning.
Yeah, and I know everybody does that, but I think everybody does it for a reason because it looks good.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm trying to pull up an image of that Shredder from the mech line. Oh, the toys that made us on Netflix has a fantastic. Agreed. That episode is fantastic.
I think I can watch any documentary that's like well done. If it's done nicely, it'll be interesting no matter what the topic is, whether it's rocks or Barbies or turtles.
There is a I'm trying to remember. It's the complete history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that came out a bit ago, and it is fantastic. It's about an hour and 45-minute documentary. And it's just really well done.
Was that a Netflix thing, or is that just a random doc that got put somewhere?
I think it was on Netflix for a bit, and then it got taken down. I'm sure it'll come back. So there is the Shredder.
On the upper left, I got you.
Yeah. Let me see if I can.
What's next to the Shredder? Do you know?
That's so in the center.
I was talking about like the pin thing in between that and the.
That is like the licensing thing.
Oh, so, I see. Just like the announcement card. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's this QR code which is to order the Shredder, and then this is to order Leo. But I tried the QR codes because I was curious because I wanted to see how much they'd cost, and they didn't.
Sure.
They
didn't pop.
But so that's a beefy boy right there.
I love all 5 of those. That is definitely trouble, especially when I'm trying to contain my collection and not as much awesome stuff is coming out, not just with turtles, as much awesome stuff that is coming out. I'm trying to limit myself on what I am picking up and inputting into my collection, just because it's
for sure.
Real estate is a commodity at this point when it comes to your collections, and it gets taken up real easy, especially with this bigger stuff with the beefier guys.
Oh yeah, to say the least. I mean, one of my friends literally just messaged me earlier this afternoon. He's like, "Hey man, I have a tote of 2003 turtles. If you want them, I'll drop them by." And I was like,
"Ooh,
sure." Like I'll take a look at them, and I'll take some, I'll pick some, and like sell off the rest. Take a look at them. But he has the playset and stuff. I never owned that. I have the vintage sewer layer playset behind that skate deck. That
I can see the top of it. You can see like the electrical lines, the hydrant. You can see it all from there.
Yeah, and then again the Technodrome is down there. Again, both of those I didn't have as a kid.
As I love turtles, I've never owned a Technodrome in my life.
The funny thing is I ended up owning 2.
Okay, you brag.
Well, because I have a complete one that my buddy legit bought. He was thinking about getting into turtles. He got out before he really got rolling on it. And then the other one I was piecing together over the course of like 4 years.
Sure.
And
there's a lot to it.
Yeah, so it was about 60% complete.
Okay.
And it is. It was the thing of like I was always looking for better parts, that I could put on because
So you're at 60%. You make an upgrade, and now I'm still at 60%, but I've improved it a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you.
So what I ended up doing is I had that one when my buddy brought it over. Actually, shout out Matt. Matt's my co-host from Tiny Ming Tuesdays. He hooked me up with the complete one. Nice. The one that I was piecing together, I gave to Ollie so that he could play with it.
That's awesome.
And so it was
still, it's like probably gave him $100 worth of plastic. Still very, very cool. That's I love that.
Well, and I would say optimistically it might be like a $40 one because there's a lot of yellowed. Like
gotcha.
Where it's like the bright white gray. It's a little closer to the it's like
still a Technodrome's a Technodrome. I'll take it.
Yeah. Tuck in the chat. My brother had the Technodrome and I had the sewer. And the cool thing was, they had a whole idea that all this stuff was going to connect and they were going to do more and more sets.
The amount of people that don't know that the Technodrome attaches to the sewer blows my mind.
So I legit geeked out. One of my friends, he was ditching a bunch of stuff from a lot of toys that he got. There was a bag of the sewer tunnels.
Oh, sure. You can see them on your left side. Well, our left, the very left side of your screen. You can see your sewer tunnel. Yeah.
Whoa, there we go. And so the funny thing is I legit have, I think 12 of those pieces.
12.
And so I want to do something with them.
Just like a hamster maze, yeah.
Right? I want to do something with them in the display, and so I'm still trying to figure that out.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like it's one of those things that like vintage turtles, I don't think I'll ever get sick of, just because there's so much. Like, so it's the thing of I fully admit I'm never going to be a completionist. That's
smart.
That's not my goal.
If you don't have an attachment to it, I don't think there's any reason to be a completionist.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, to each their own. If you want to be a completionist and you have no attachment to it, go nuts. I think it's a waste of money.
And my thing is like my big project that I've been working on for a while. I got it all designed up. I need to basically save the funds to make it. Is I lucked into working an estate sale, and they knew that I was a toy guy, and they said, "Hey, this guy literally has a barn filled with boxes.
Oh, I like that.
And we're gonna bring it in. We're gonna sell everything." And she's like, "You want to come over and look?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I went in, and like, there was like Bill and Ted's, like on card. This dude had to have like rated KB toys. Yeah, like a ton of on card stuff. And I opened up a box, and legit, it was 10-back turtles on card, unpunched.
Oh.
And I brought them forward, and I was like, "Hey, I would really like these." And she sold them to me for a song, to say the least. Very nice.
Yeah.
So I have a full 10-back set on card. And so my goal is I'm going to make a print and in a shadow box, and it's the back carding of Michelangelo, because that's my guy.
Sure.
And I'm going to hang the 10-backs. I'm going to put a little acrylic riser in there, and I'm going to have all the on-card figures standing in the shadow box like it's a 10-back. And that's going to be like a big display.
Wait a minute. I was going to say, how big is this thing going to be?
Oh, if I remember correctly, it's going to be nearly 4 feet wide.
Right. That's, wow. Oh, man, that is...
It's going to be a showcase piece. I mean, it's
absolutely, that's a centerpiece. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you figured out, here's a stupid question, but because there's 10 of them. So how are you going to fit them into a square? Like you could do 4 and then 4 and then 2. Well,
because if you look at the back of your Leo.
Oh, you're going to do it like this.
Yep. So they're going to be in that. Okay. Yep. They're going to be in that exact same order. So it's going to be the 6 and then the 4. So
that's awesome.
It's going to be the size of a flipping door by the time I'm done. I think.
But still, the greatest door I've ever seen. That's fantastic, man. So what was the? Hey, Mitch. I missed the end of that story. So what did you pay at the estate sale you were working at?
I'm not gonna say.
Okay, that's fine.
Let's put it this way. I was very, very, very excited. Enough so that I legit, like on the way home, I gave my wife a shout and I said, "Hey, I used our joint cart. I'm literally coming home with a truck full of toys."
Love it. So you got more than just the turtles.
Oh yeah, I found all sorts of crazy shit.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Basically anything that I thought was cool, like I picked up, because I'm like, if I dig it and I want to keep it in my collection, awesome. I'm not going to have this chance again.
I'm shocked, knowing estate sales as much as I do. I'm shocked that they were allowed you to do that before the sale went on. I'm assuming that you got at least if not free, a very decent discount.
Yeah, well, again, it was that there was that much stuff that they couldn't fit
crazy. And what year was this? Do you know?
Oh, 3 years ago.
Oh, so it was semi-recent too. Stuff was still. It wasn't at the boom that we're at right now, but still, stuff was still taking off at that point.
Yeah,
wow. That's not common, man.
27. No, like I said, it's that score that I'm going to talk about the rest of my freaking life.
You absolutely should. That's fantastic, dude.
So it's one of those things that's kind of a long-term goal of making a cool display with that. And push come to shove, if I gotta, I have an attachment to turtles. I have an attachment to these turtles, the ones that I grew up with.
Absolutely.
The on-card ones, push come to shove, they're out the door. I'll sell them, and I'll,
Right, we saw those in the store, and we saw those on Christmas morning and our birthdays for 3 minutes. Yep. And then we tore them open, and they were no longer the carded turtles. They were now the loose turtles, and that's what you had for the rest of your childhood. So I agree with you. That's what we remember.
Oh, and legit, So I was a groomsman in one of my friend's weddings.
Okay.
And we may have been drinking heavily. And I nearly went out and got the Mikey from the top of the card right there, tattooed.
Oh, is it the same on every card? Oh, it's the top of Mikey's card. So I'm assuming you're talking about that art, but the Mikey version of it?
Yep, because he's got his arms up with the nunchucks. And I always thought it was so cool, and it just stuck out in my head.
That's
Mitch
awesome.
Falcon, was
I
that
love that idea.
It was a Cheapskate. It is by far one of my favorite vehicles, and I am pretty proud to say all of them, all the actions still work. This one, there we go.
There you go. I don't think the vehicles get enough love.
No,
as many vehicles as there were, and maybe they were just like because they were so common, especially Cheapskate and the motorcycle and the few other ones, the rafts,
the tubes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The tubes.
Yeah, the sewer tubes, man.
Though everybody had those, I think they just became known as like nobody played with them when they were a kid because everybody had them, and they were just. I don't want to say useless when we were a kid, but we just had other cooler, bigger things. We had the turtle van. We had the big playset that I spent very little time playing with Cheapskate when I was a kid. Now, because of that, I think that Cheapskate and the vehicles alike are getting very little love.
Oh yeah, see, and like we didn't have the playsets or anything. Like we kind of made our own, like out of
shoeboxes and stuff. Yeah,
but like I remember the Cheapskate and like the motorcycle especially, and the tubes. Like the tubes. We went up to visit my grandparents at the shacks. We brought those with. They were in the water.
Oh,
with
hell
us,
yeah. There you go. That's
great.
Man.
I cannot tell you how many times that motorcycle went flying down my grandparents' steps. Like, here they go. Like, looking back, it's like, oh, but
who cares? Back then, it was a $5 figure. They had KB stickers on them for like $2.99. Yeah, it was fine.
Oh man, I missed a comment from Stan. Have a bunch of turtles from the original Playmates line and have NECA TMNT movies like my line. My son is into the 2003 ones. Hell yeah, keeping it alive.
I was gonna say that guy's got a house full of turtles. That's great.
And like I try really hard to like everything is in here. Or I try to keep like the majority of it in here in the studio. And it's one of those things where like it creeps out here or there, Like
I try to keep those spills contained. This isn't my collection room. This is I'm in the middle of rearranging my whole loft that has I'm mainly, if you can't tell, I'm mainly a video game collector. But I also have a big glass display case that has all my turtle stuff in there. I'm in the process of getting all of my stuff out of these Detolfs that I have behind me, these big glass cases that everybody has in their collections, which I do like that I don't see a single Detolf in your room.
Yeah.
I feel like they are way too common nowadays, and I feel like everybody's collection has them.
Yeah.
As affordable and as awesome as they look, I loved them 5 years ago.
Yeah.
But nowadays I feel like they're overdone, and because of that I'm trying to get them out, and so I put them into the spare room and I've just set them up as my streaming background. Yeah.
Have you seen the hack of combining two?
No. Because I've seen extra shelves, but that's about the only hack I've seen. How do you combine them?
So basically what you do is you can either router out, like so you can get one piece of lumber for the top, one for the bottom, router out that channel, or you can basically combine them and you basically extend that channel across.
Sure.
And so basically you cut like, what is it? Probably like an inch. The excess that's in between them, like on the outside, you cut that off. And then
on the bases, right?
Yeah. And then basically you combine them, you bolt them together, and it makes a dual swing door, which is nice.
Oh, it's very cool. To me, that's too much work.
Yeah,
to me, I'm just buying another glass case, the one that actually looks that way. I know you're going to spend money to do that, but I think it's worth it. And when I think what you're talking about, what you just described by combining two Detolfs would look awesome to a non-collector. But the moment another collector comes over, they're going to be like, "What did you just do to two Detolfs?" Yeah.
Yeah. Neb Shapiro, can you guys talk about what it was like seeing the 1990 movie for the first time? I definitely can. Hold on, I gotta grab this.
Sure. I should have done a better job. That poster that is on the bottom right of Dave's room, that is, I mean, to me, that shouts the first movie. I love that poster. I honestly probably love that poster. Not now, but as a kid, I love that poster more than I did the first movie. That poster to me I had that on my wall when I was a kid. It was over my bed. That poster to me was everything. The poster that's behind you over your left shoulder.
I still have my OG one.
Yeah, mine is somewhere, but it's all torn. I have a similar one to that is like professionally backed, and I just don't have anywhere to display it yet. The Konami games.
That right there, man.
Absolutely, man.
I remember picking this up and freaking out because I remember going to go see the movie, and I got to play this.
Oh, like the same day you got that and you saw the movie in the same day?
Well, no. So my buddy Scott got this for me, and I remember I was like, "This is really cool," and he's like, "We're gonna go see the movie." I'm like, "Okay."
And this was when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, because it was for, I don't remember really how it was. I don't know if that was the first time I saw it, but I remember getting this and going to see the movie.
That's awesome. Okay.
Like in the same day.
That's very cool. Honestly, I loved the first movie. I really think the first movie is the best of the three. I think without a doubt it's the best of the three. But as a kid, it was great seeing the turtles on screen. But I was
not got much stuff. I'll be right back.
You got it. I was a guy who, I was, how old was I? 8 or 9 at the time, and it was a dark movie. It was, you go back and they're not swearing, but they're saying damn, and they're killing. They're using their weapons.
Oh yeah.
It's a much darker movie than any of the other two. When the second one came out, yeah, there you go. I've got all 3 somewhere in this room. Yeah, there they go. Oh,
there you go.
The VHS of those are fantastic. I like not even just are they sealed?
This one is.
Oh, love it.
There's a funny story behind this one I'll tell you later, but these are my OG ones from being a little
from
kid.
when you were a kid. Oh, those movies, they got so much play with me. And not even, I love those. I loved watching the movies, but I also I think it was Home Alone 2, or maybe just Home Alone had like the preview for Turtles 2 coming up for it. So I love watching Home Alone, and then I also love the preview that was showing Turtles or Turtles 2. But what I was saying was that as a kid, I don't have a ton of memories on the first one. I remember the second one because to me, the second one is the kids' movie. The second one is the one that stands. That's the kids' favorite. Like my kid's movie is his favorite movie is. I thought you were pointing at something first.
No, but you know exactly what I was referencing.
Of course. Everything about that second movie was right up a kid's alley. And nowadays, I mean, currently, I like it better than the third one. But I will always love Tokan Razor. But the plot of the first movie can't be beat. That is a turtle movie for me.
Oh hell yeah, dude! I just the funny thing is I love Turtles 2 and 3 like a lot. Like honestly, I would probably say Turtles 2 is the one that I have most vivid memories of because I was the right age for it.
Right.
But like Turtles 3, bro, that made me love Baltimore's Tarzan boy because of that friggin' trailer, man. But you know what I loved and also made me hate Turtles a little bit? This is up your alley, bud, because it's this game.
Oh, right there we go. There we go. Same art as on the Konami game.
Right.
That game is a tough. I don't think I ever beat that game. That water level in that game.
I beat it once.
Wow.
And I can safely say I cheated. I had to do it.
The water level was very tough in that game. If it didn't just kill you and eat up all your lives and continues, you made it out of that level with 2 lives. And then by then you were so unfamiliar with the levels after that, you died right away anyways.
Yeah.
That is a very tough game. And then the second game, which was the arcade game, that was the one that came with like that Pizza Hut redemption. That second game, totally different than the first game, but that one was arcade accurate. Like that was
it was a beast, man.
Yeah, that game was fantastic. And then the third game, Manhattan Project, was fantastic as well. That was much more similar to the second game. The Turtle games, I love all 3 of the NES Turtle games. And I do love that first one just because of the nostalgia, not because of the great gameplay, but it is, I do love it.
Dude, the Nintendo, like Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, like I really only ever owned the Ninja Turtle one and Turtles in Time were the 2 that like I remember owning. I remember renting the other ones.
Okay, there you go.
But like I remember playing.
I was too big into Turtles. As soon as the games came out, I would buy them that day. I'd go to Toys R Us, get the ticket, and we'd just do the exact same process we already discussed. And then I would play it for 3 months straight until the next one came out.
Hell yeah. Stan in the chat. I remember the cartoon VHSs from Burger King. Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I remember the colors of those VHS, the colors and then the pizza monsters. Yeah. The specific shade of blue and yellow and green. That is burned into my mind. Absolutely.
I legit, I'll leave them up there. I have all the VHS tapes lined up behind the figures.
Love it.
Up on the thing because that's become one of my things that I kind of like doing in here. Like I have my Pride of the X-Men tape in with my Pride of the X-Men collection.
Okay, awesome.
So, as Mitch Falcon said, FHE.
Yeah, same thing. There you go. Love it.
Tuck, the first movie was the first movie I saw in a real theater instead of the local drive-in. Very cool.
Very cool. How about this? You remember these guys?
Oh, dude. Yeah, man.
I don't know if these were carnival prizes. Or I kind of remember them as carnival prizes, but they also look like too well done to be like hanging on a bottle toss. You know what I mean?
Weren't those applause?
I believe so. I know applause from like they also made Nintendo stuff.
Yeah, legit. I have that Michelangelo, and when my son was born, I gave it to him, and he still has it on his bed. Like that was my stuffed animal that I had, and he still plays with it and stuff. And like I know they had suction cups. I think.
Yeah. There's different versions. Like this one, these two are different kinds. This one, the bigger one is Playmates. This one is by a company named Ace.
Okay.
And it's just this is the one that like you find these all the time, and the headband comes off.
Yeah.
The other one, it won't come off at all. Like this thing will literally like dangle. There is another one by Applause, and I think there's even like a fourth one. But the amount of merch we could have just a podcast on turtle merch.
Oh, dude, no doubt. The
pencil holders and erasers and any school supply that you could think of.
Legit, the two. So because I focus mainly on the figures, and like there's stuff like the video games and the movies that I picked up because those are what I had, or they're the ones that I had. There were two pieces of merch, or I guess three pieces of merch that stick out in my mind that were so vivid. That I had. I'll grab them here in just a second. But I've kind of restricted myself. I'm like, I could go down and get erasers and pencils and folders and blah.
That's like, the problem. When does it stop? You only have so much room. What are you going to do?
One of the things that I always joke around with, because I'm a freelance artist, all my 1099s go into, it's a Ninja Turtles folder with the piece of paper across it that says taxes.
Professional. Love that.
And it just cracks me up because I look at them and I'm just like, oh man, like I legit had that thing since probably third grade, and it sat like after third grade, it sat in a book, like it sat in between two books on a bookshelf. And then when my mom moved, I found it. I was like, ha, this is still in one piece.
Right. Absolutely. This folder on my down here, it's not Turtles.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Nintendo. That's Mario.
It's an old Mario folder that I had when I was a kid. That folder was, I took that to school probably third grade through sixth grade. It's
hell yeah.
So yeah, all that stuff. That's why a lot of the stuff was ingrained in us. We weren't just playing with the action figures and watching the show on Saturday mornings. We were seeing Turtles and Nintendo when we went to school, when we came home, when we were going to sleep. It was on our bedspread and on our pillowcases. It was everywhere.
Hell yeah. Sorry, catching up in the chat.
Yeah.
A line has recently entered my collection. You'll find out once I get on here. Fair enough, Pale Aragorn. A YouTube link. Unfortunately, I can't play that on here because we'll get flagged. First NES game has the bones of a good game, hindered by the unnecessary difficulty, probably to spur rentals.
Sure.
Man, it was so good. A toy shop in my city had the SH Figure Arts Turtles for like $2.50 a pop. Then I hear about them being like $20 in America. Yeah, man, dude. Those.
Where's Hankin at?
Hankin, you're in Australia, right? If I'm remembering correctly. Dude, those SH Figure Arts ones, I have them over on the display. They hit Barnes and Nobles up here, and they were like 15 or $20 on like Uber clearance. And like the coolest thing about them is their calves and their shells are die cast, so it counterbalances them. So they're like super sturdy. Hold on, I'm gonna grab them real quick.
Yeah, sure thing. I need to ask. I just need to wait till he gets back. I'm wondering the likeness of the Turtles on the SH Figure Arts ones. I believe it's fairly close to the cartoons, right?
Oh, it's based on the control art. So like all the artwork that was used to produce merchandise, all the work, like if you saw the Turtles on like an anti-drug PSA, a beach towel, a T-shirt, that was done in focusing on the control art.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, the first NECA set is based on that, right?
Or
the coloring, at least.
Yeah, it was supposed to be.
Okay, yeah, I got you.
It was close. I got Mikey with his grappling hook. Just
and that's what I'm saying about the facial features. Like that's not cartoon accurate. At least the late '80s one.
No, definitely not.
It's not the original Turtles. It's an awesome Michelangelo.
Oh yeah,
but it's not. And look at the detail on that.
Yeah, so the thighs and the shell are die cast.
So they're just rock solid.
Yeah, they are.
They're not going anywhere.
They are those scary figures that when they fall, you're like, these are going to kill someone.
Right? Please don't fall, my child.
The merch bits that live in my collection outside of like video games and television. Boom.
Oh, the bowl on the outside of the cereal box.
I know. And believe it or not, this is my OG one. This is the one I
amount
grew
of
up
stuff
with.
you have from when you were a kid is fantastic. I wish my parents didn't have garage sales when I was a kid.
My mom was very, this is mine. No, not so much that, but like, okay, cool. It's a bowl. It's still functional. Put it up there.
That's great. Who cares if it's a turtle or not?
Yeah, exactly. And then bubble bath.
Sure, absolutely.
Thankfully this is empty. I found this at a local swap and I marked out because I definitely had this. My mom totally tossed it.
That's the best. When you find something from your childhood out in the wild randomly and you're only going to pay $2 for it, that is the best.
Oh, the nerdy thing is as soon as I picked it up, I'm like, I want to open it to smell it, but I'm not going to. That is
smart.
Like 25.
Good move.
And then finally,
the cookie jar.
So the cool thing is, when I got this, it had cookies in it.
It had the cookies. Oh, and they were turtle shaped, right?
No, they were just chocolate chip cookies.
Okay. Maybe
they had another kind, same company that had like the pressed ones.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Okay,
but it's the same ones. But so it has the mail away for the nightlight.
Oh, fantastic!
And I have the mail away slip for the nightlight that's rolled up on my display.
Do you have the nightlight?
Then I do. I have my nightlight.
Of course you do.
From when I was a little kid. But it's because
it's still plugged into your childhood wall, right?
No. It was because I took it out, and what I would do is I would use it in like when I'd move and whatnot. I used it to mark my suitcase because I had this cheap, shitty suitcase. And so what I did is I cut 2 slits for the plug, jammed it in through there, and then what I did is I put a
like a zip tie or something. Yeah, I'm with you.
Through the outlet. So I had a Ninja Turtle on my luggage.
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
And so I took that off, and it's up there now. But I put this to good use because inside, I was
going to say, there's something in there, yeah.
All my NECA accessories.
Brilliant. So I may steal that from you. That's a very good idea.
It hides everything in plain sight.
Right.
And it's one of those pieces where I'm just like, this brought up so many memories when I saw it. And he had all 4, and he was like, do you want to buy all 4? I'm like, no.
I'm good.
Like, why? I'm like, because I had Mikey. I never had anybody else, and I legit used it as the bank that you're supposed to.
Yeah, same here. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've got so many directions I want to go just based on that alone. Do you have any of the cereal boxes?
No. I
want to get one of those.
I've come close to it was the second one, the pizza cereal, if you remember that one.
I remember what am I saying? Am I thinking of like pizza Pringles? There were like
there was like a chip one, like pizza snacks or something like that.
Something like that. But
yeah,
I want to get there was a turtle cereal. I'm big on vintage cereals currently. I need to find a turtle box that has cereal in it that's still sealed, and then I want to find the Nintendo also had a cereal where there was 2 bags inside of a regular box of cereal, and half was Mario, and then the other half was Link. That was the one that is the cereal. Those marshmallows, I could still taste those goddamn marshmallows.
Dude, it's corn Chex and Lucky Charms, man.
Right? Who cares? That's fed. That sounds great. I'm
just saying. The funny thing is, I have those clipped out cards, like from the back.
Of course you do, man. Well, where do you keep all this stuff?
They are trashed. Like they are royally trashed. But they again
have them. Yeah.
So I found. Well, these actually I got from a friend recently, but I had this book growing up, and they were in the back of that.
Oh, okay.
And so I had used them as like bookmarks, but my friend hooked me up with some books for the kiddo.
I'm in the middle of reading Red Herrings with my kid.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
He's 5. We'd read it. We read. I can't even read a chapter a night because the chapters are so long in those books.
Yeah,
there's like that thick book is like 5 chapters, and it takes forever to get through. But we're slowly working our way through it, and he loves it.
Dude, they're solid. They're easy. They're fun stories. Oh, Hankin confirmed Brisbane, Australia.
Oh, thanks, man. Sorry.
Hank, Mitch Falcon is just the FHE intro from the first TMNT VHS. Yes, sir. Nintendo Serial System. And I remember that.
Attaboy. Awesome. The other question I wanted to ask you about the cookie jar.
Yeah.
You're putting all of your NECA stuff. I'm big on the NECA stuff.
Yeah.
You're putting all of your accessories into the cookie jar, and they're unlabeled. They're not baggied within there. You just, as soon as you get figures out, you figure out the way you want to pose them, the accessories you want to use. Everything else that's left over just gets dumped into the cookie jar.
Yeah. So
do you have any concerns about that?
I don't actually. So here's my psycho ass thing. I have a weird memory when it comes to toys and whatnot. I was a toy buyer for our local comic shop for 4 or 5 years. So the thing is like, as far as separating them back out, if I'm going to sell them, not a big issue. And the thing is, I'm not like sitting here going, you know.
Oh no, I'm not worried about the damaging. I'm literally just worried about sorting them. Like if you had to get rid of a couple, or my main concern is the turtles. Like, of course, I can figure out what the hands. The hands is going to be the problem, right?
Well, and like legit, so for instance, the disguise set, I left all the alternate hands and heads in that one. For the San Diego Comic-Con set that has like the Archie comic art on the outside, all those accessories are in there. So really, the only like turtle hands and stuff that are in those are like my movie turtle ones, which are the same across the board. You know, you can pick out, okay, they have fists, they have that. Raph has the ones that, you know, you can stick the sai through, stuff like that. And so for me, it's one of those things. I actually get like, when I switch shit up on my display, I kind of hit that point of like, cool, I'm going to dump everything out. So like I clear off my desk and I just dump everything. I'm like, all right, grab this, plug it into
playtime. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
it's fun. And it gives me a little moment of like, I don't want to say zen. That's definitely not the right term, but it's oh, cool. Like you just
a little bit of peace of mind. Yeah, it's a nice way to spend some time, clear your mind, and that pizza slice.
That pizza slice, man. That was one of the few things that broke my heart about the disguise set. Is I was like, why didn't you put that in there? That would have like rounded it all out.
But can't you won't use the old one?
That is the old one.
So what's your problem with it?
Oh no, nothing. I was
just wanted another one.
I feel like every raft should come with that fucking pizza.
Oh sure, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, that's
just because like, you know, if you didn't have the other sets, you wouldn't have that. And I know it was probably
that's
like
a good point. Okay, see, I'm thinking that everybody's not a completionist like us, but that is caught up and had the previous turtles. I was going to ask you that. Are you completely caught up? Is your NECA cartoon line complete?
It's definitely not complete. I kind of picked and chose here and there. Like my thing is with turtles. So NECA and Super 7 are getting all my monies.
It's terrible, man.
So with Super 7, I said I'm getting the 4 turtles, and then when it comes between NECA and Super 7, I go, was I more attached to the toy or was I more attached to the cartoon?
That's smart.
And so, for instance, Mutagen Man. When I think of him, when I think of that character, I think of the toy. So
they're very different, right?
Yeah, and so I have him up on the display. I'm gonna for sure get the 4 turtles in April, and then Bebop and Rocksteady. Because I love that Bebop and Rocksteady. Those were my bad guys growing up. You know, like Shredder couldn't do anything with his scoliosis, so like Bebop and Rocksteady were the big bads.
Absolutely.
And I got like the video game Slash, and I repainted him so that he looks like a more cartoon scheme.
Nice.
Because I hated the cartoon Slash. The Binky, I need my Binky. I hated that as a kid because I had the vintage figure, you know.
Sure, that's not that wasn't how you were playing with him. He was a big, beefy bully of a guy, and then you get to the cartoon, and it's the total opposite.
Fluorescent pink blades on his arms.
Right.
And so like I got him, and then so that pack was with Leatherhead, and I was like, but I like Leatherhead from the cartoon. I mean, I know he's a horrible Cajun stereotype, I guarantee. But one of my friends is like, my Leatherhead's ankle busted. I got a new set. I'm selling Slash and I'm selling Leatherhead, but Leatherhead's busted. I'm like, dude, I'll take it. I'll repair it. So I'm picking up a Leatherhead tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Good. And that's okay. It can be a process, and you can slowly fill the holes. That's fine.
And it's that thing of I know you are the quote unquote NECA whisperer. But
I'm losing that title quickly, man. It's
dude, it's one of those things where like if I see it in person, it's so exciting. Like I get
absolutely.
And like the disguise turtles thing, I lost my damn mind because I was like, I kind of accepted. I'm like, I'm probably gonna have to track these down on the aftermarket,
sure.
And I lucked into it.
I've got faith that they're going to be readily available. I'm hoping that the hype for these isn't as strong once they get released again and again.
Sure.
Tell me the story as far as how I don't have for everybody. Dave, you know this, but for everybody else, I don't have the disguise set. I believe it's the one set that I don't have from the cartoon line, other than I don't have the bunny set anymore, because then he's just next. I wish, man. Oh, if I could get us some vanilla ice. Oh, yeah. With a little like switch on his back that makes him pump his fist.
Hell yeah.
That'd be fantastic. The Bebop and Rocksteady, that bunny set, that's the only 2 figures that I'm missing from the cartoon line, and that's only because I got the crates, I got the 2 figures, but I could not justify having $150 figures in my set when I have a 5-year-old that I need to feed. You know what I mean?
Well, and that was the thing is legit. One of my friends was like, "Hey, I have these." I'm like, "Good for you." Because I felt like a dick because he's like, "But you love turtles." I'm like, "I do love turtles." Dude, I don't have $300 to drop on that.
Right. I already have a Bebop. It'd be one thing if Bebop and Rocksteady weren't already released and that was the only way to get them, or if it wasn't even bunny. It was just like a regular Bebop and Rocksteady and they were going for 150. But because we already had them and I had no attachment to that Easter episode or whatever they showed up when they were bunnies, I couldn't hang on to them. So otherwise I am 100% complete. I will say this, I do have an extra set of the frogs. Do you need the frogs?
I got the frogs. The frogs hit hard up here.
Everything hit hard for you up there. It was
that weird thing of the disguise set hit gone. The frogs though hit and it was like boom, 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 boom. Like all of a sudden, like
wow.
It seemed like it hit, like this area, then this area, then this area, like in cities, like people were like, I found him here. Oh, I found him here. I found him here. And then like nothing for a couple days. Then I found him here. I found him there. I found him, and it's just like, okay. Like I legit just walked into Target. I was picking up groceries. And
I wanted the story on how you got the disguise set and what happened. And was there any like special circumstances that led to it? Or was it just pure luck?
It was that thing of one of my buddies. He sets up like the Target NECA displays.
Is he one of their vendors or is he one of their, they have another word for it. It's
I don't know.
The guy that isn't allowed to go in the back, but he's able to straighten up their displays.
He sets them up and I had texted him. I said, hey, if you see these, can you just let me know? And he's good about like, hey dude, I saw these. They're at, XYZ.
That's great.
Like, and so legit, I went and I was actually meeting up with him because I had sold him a figure. And so like I met up with him and he was like, hey man, I'm gonna go do the NECA stuff. Like, do you want to hang out for a few minutes? I'm like, yeah,
absolutely.
So
of course I do.
We went back there and they he said looked like someone ripped into the box bottom, and I'm like, oh, it sucks. And then merchandiser. There we go.
Okay, that could be the word. Okay.
Hey Tussler, how's it going? Tussler is one of my big Ninja Turtle buddies.
There you go. Hey Tussler.
But
love the passion.
DJ Piecemeal, thank you. I'm assuming to both, but
one of our backdrops is much better than the other one.
But so he ended up saying, "Hey, I'm hitting like 2 other stores. I'll text you and let you know if they're there."
Okay.
And I was like, okay. So I made a run. I was running errands and stuff, and I was up in the area, and he said, he'd be out there XYZ, like, hey, around this time. So I literally went in there. And I caught him when he was doing it, and he's like, "Hey man, are these them?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Yes, please.
So it was kind of I was very grateful that he helped me out.
Sure. Was there just the one set? And if you don't want to answer these questions,
there was 2 sets. So I'm guessing most stores got 2. But he was saying that he was going to stores and like legit the NECA boxes were ripped open. So
I've never heard of that until this set.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Man.
And I mean, granted, it's a $125 set that's selling online, or at least it was. I don't know if it's still going for this for between $300 and $400.
Yeah.
That's it. So did you pick up both of them or just one of them?
I was only able to pick up one.
Okay, I was going to ask, like, does your guy have rules? Like, you can only pick up one per person?
Yeah, he does the thing of he tries to make it as fair as possible. Like, because he has to do his thing. So, legit, I was like, cool. That's
have to
fine.
be absolutely.
That's fine by me. I'm incredibly grateful, just to have had the opportunity, and like I nerded out hard about it. Just because these are like I said, like legit. If I had to sell off a bunch of my collection, these would be my representation of this cartoon.
I was not sold on these disguised turtles originally, and then I saw an up close shot of the faces. And the changes and the parts that you're able to swap out, and I was instantly sold on them. And
you mean these faces?
Yeah, that's. What are you gonna do with those? What do you do?
Oh, I legit have the disguises. These are the San Diego turtles. So I have
Okay,
all
so
four.
you just use them on other bodies. Okay.
Yep. So I have all four of them in
That's
disguise, kind of
fine.
about the display.
They could have put out this disguise set without the disguises. It could have just been, hey, here's a 4-pack of the turtles for $125. They're slightly more articulated. They look a hell of a lot better. The faces can be interchanged out.
Yeah.
They could have done that for $125. We didn't need the disguises. I mean, I'll take it. Sure, I'm not going to use it, but
I will be surprised if they don't do another release of these in like 2
Well, they have to. It's the same as like wrestling stuff that you and I are familiar with. They are always going to be releasing Roman Reigns. They're always going to be releasing the John Cenas. You need
those
the Superman and the He-Mans. You need them on the shelves to sell figures. Hopefully, it's not as hard to get them every time that you go into a store. It's tough, man. I don't care if it's I don't care if it's the frogs or if it's the disguise set. If it's a figure that everybody needs versus a figure that barely anybody wants, they're very, very hard to come by.
Oh yeah. Well, like we had like again, it was the initial wave, boom, gone with so many of the other 2-packs, and then all of a sudden like Splinter and Baxter hit and clogged shelves.
Yep.
The Triceratons and the Rock Soldiers hit and have just sat.
I think every
comment. Pretty sure the 2 full sets of coins that came from the news agency, one's cardboard backing is trash, but the other's in good condition. That's awesome. those coins, man. That was something that I got real itchy for. And
do they go for anything now? Are they worth anything?
In sets, and if they're like in the backer, I've seen them go for a decent amount.
Okay, that's cool.
Sam Albro, another good brother, had a couple of Archie comic collections as a kid that came with narrated and voice acted books on tape versions. Oh, that's awesome. One of the Leatherhead intergalactic
books on tape. There's some you don't hear. Yeah, that's another callback.
Jess Harley was my Leatherhead, and those were trippy, dude. Like, I had these. There were little books. They were little squares, like 4x4, 5x5 squares, and it like compacted down like all the Archie comic stories. So like when they go in and do intergalactic wrestling and get like Cuddly the Cowlick. Like it was one of those things that it's like I remember those so vividly, and then now having read all the Archie books and stuff, it's like, oh man, this was like a 10-issue arc. I stand by if they don't do a Cuddly the Cowlick exclusive set with like the 4 wrestling like weird wrestling costumes down the line, I'll be a little disappointed because
imagine how difficult that would be to get.
Oh,
now you're combining 2 different niches in together. The wrestling guys are going to be after him. The turtle guys are going to be after him.
See, I could see it being San Diego, like a San Diego set, though. Like, because
I'd be fine with it. I'm thrilled for the world to get back to the way it normally is, so the Comic-Con exclusives can go back to being Comic-Con exclusives, and it won't be easy. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people don't feel this way, and that the Comic-Con exclusives online is a big difference and a relief to a lot of people. But I don't feel that way. I liked it when it was a Comic-Con exclusive.
Dude, the coming out of their shells tour was a big thing for me growing up. Like I remember I had the cassette, I had the poster / menu.
Sure.
Like, and I always thought it'd be so cool if they made figures, and I knew they never would. There was
that never even crossed my mind when I was a kid.
Yeah, but like because they put out like Punker Dawn, like the Rockstar Turtles, like they put out those guys, like
sure.
DJ and stuff. And I'm like, those are cool, but they're not
close, right?
What they're supposed to be. And I remember when Randy came out and said, hey, like this San Diego exclusive is going to be something no one's ever expected. And I remember I was texting with my buddy and I said, dude, I swear to God, if it's coming out of their shells, I'm going to cream my jeans.
Right.
And he's like, they'll never do those. And it was like 3 days
he said
later.
That rightfully so. That was... Yeah, literally my favorite thing that NECA has done turtle wise is that the coming out of their shells tour.
Yeah, dude,
I love a lot of people don't like them. I love them.
I will send you a set, Dan. So here's my nerdery because I'm a psychopath. All right, we got him right.
Sure.
So I went in and made the proper.
Look at you.
So
what is that? What does it stick on with?
It's a vinyl decal.
Amazing, dude. I would love that.
Yeah, I'll do my. We'll swap info after. But so all 4 of my turtles have that on the back because I'm like, it just it's like the Mighty Mutagen tour. Cool, I get why they had to do it that way. No heat whatsoever. Like, but I was just like, I can make these.
Right.
and,
And if you can,
slap.
you may as well. And as long as normally I don't like customs, but if a custom's done well, I'm more than okay with it. I have no rules when it comes to turtle stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a custom TV coming that looks like the TV from the show.
Did you get it from the dude on TMNT Customizers?
No, because I'm not in that group. It wasn't him. I think his name was Omar.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's doing two different styles. One that's like a permanent April image, and then one with like magnetic swappable screens now.
Oh, see, I was given the option to choose one of the 3 screens, and I just chose the April, so I wasn't going to swap it anyways.
Yeah.
That's interesting that he made an upgrade on it. And it looked. I mean, it was dead on. It was the old school television with the books that held it in place of one of the legs. I love this thing. Now I just need a turtle layer for them to go into.
Well, and that's like my next steps, because I'm kind of, again,
I knew that you customized. I did not know you made dioramas.
Oh, yeah.
You told that to me earlier. Like, that opens up a whole can of worms for you.
Dude, it's so much fun, and like I'm slowly getting back into it, because if you saw my desk right now, I mean, it's covered in turtles and such, but I've been going through and like sorting and pre-sales, because there's a swap here tomorrow, and it's been that thing. There's just crap everywhere. But yeah, I'm getting into that side of things, and yeah, I'm figuring.
Is that on your docket? Like, are you planning on putting together a turtle layer?
Yes. So my goal when I swap some stuff around, and I'm kind of, I've drawn up schematics for like what I want to do back here, because those are just Billy bookcases.
Okay.
That I drilled together, or that I screwed together and whatnot, and it's a really cool display, but I want to light them, and they're not good for that. But what I want to do is I want to have basically an entire thing across the top there that's going to be the sewer layer. So it'll have, I can put a bunch of the cartoon turtles and everybody in there, and the villains and all that stuff, just for fun. But actually, my buddy Matt introduced me. Oh God. I'm gonna knock over everything over here real quick to this stuff that is put out around the holidays.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
it's printed embossed brick.
Makes sense. Yeah,
and it's pretty close.
Great backdrop. Yeah. So I'm gonna use that and basically build out a frame and basically make a TV set. You know what I mean? Wow, that's cool. So, okay. That's a very good idea. I was gonna ask if you were gonna go the Kyle Peterson route of just backing a Billy bookcase, or if you're making your own like display, or what you're gonna do.
So with these, I thought about doing the backdrops. I thought it would be kind of fun. What I was gonna do, instead of like, the backdrop guy does amazing work. I'm a graphic guy though, so it's like, okay, I can make these.
What do I need you for? Yeah,
well, and it's the thing of, also it's coming from the UK, so that's hella pricey. So I'm like, I know how to make these. I know how to print these. So like, why don't I just design my own?
Absolutely.
And so like, I have, for the way I have everything set up back there on my Spider-Man shelf, I designed backdrops, but it was the thing of like, I calculated out how much it would be to print it, and then I was like, but is this like, do I want to make these my permanent?
Sure, because it's an investment. Not only is it a money investment, but it's literally just a time investment to get all that stuff out of there, hang it up, and then replace everything. I mean, you're killing the day just on all that stuff. So I agree with you. If you're going to do something, do it the right way the first time, and then be done with it.
I'm having a flashback. Oh, MWO on the MWO Major World Order podcast.
Yeah,
by the way.
Good guys.
Dan was on there last week.
It was last week's episode. Yeah.
So,
we were talking about the same thing. If you're going to do any sort of display, whether it's action figures or video games or whatever, board games, whatever you're collecting, figure out what you want to do, put some time and effort into it, and then do it right the first time. Don't waste money just trying to put something together and just make do until you can finally get to it on a weekend. Wait until that weekend and then finally do everything the right way.
Well, and that's what this was kind of like. I think this will work. This should work. It's cost effective. It'll look really nice. And in the end, like, I can always resell the shelves if it's not, exactly what I want to do. So, and the thing is, it'll work great for now. And, until I get everything kind of where I want it, I'm not going to bugger with it. Pale Aragorn recently got into a line. We'll show you when I hop on here. You're killing me.
Teasing us.
Do you guys ever worry about UV or yellowing plastic? Yes. At least, I know this came up on another stream because I have a window right over there.
Okay.
It's the only window in the room, but the thing is the way I have stuff set up, nothing gets direct sunlight.
Okay, that's all that matters.
I'm in the basement.
I don't have a ton of concern about it. My stuff is in a second story loft, and there is a giant window on there, but I do have it covered by a curtain at all times. And even then, I'm not super concerned with it. Video games have been, the majority of my room is video games. It's NES and Super Nintendo cartridges with a mix of everything else. If they weren't discolored by now, they're not going to get discolored. I can go to the video game stuff. Video games, the Super Nintendos, especially if you've ever seen a Super Nintendo, it's almost always a dark yellow. That's not from UV. It's a result of the fire retardant material that was used in making the Super Nintendos. It just, no matter what you do to them, whether it's indirect sunlight or not, it will turn yellow. That gray will turn. And you can undo that. You can undo it on any toy if you use that. What is it? It's some hair product, right?
It's hydrogen peroxide and UV light.
Yeah,
it can de-yellow plastics
temporarily. It goes away and then it comes back eventually. Blah blah blah. So you could get rid of it if it's ever an issue. To me, it's not. I think about it when I'm designing my stuff, when I'm designing my displays. But because I haven't thought about, because I thought about it initially, I don't feel like I need to keep it in mind because I've already taken care of that problem. You know what I mean? Do it right the first time.
That was the Nintendo Ninja Turtle box. Like, this was one that I came across. I should put it in a case.
I was going to say, I'm going to send you a box protector for that.
The thing is, I have, so I have one of those original Nintendo, like, cases, like, that you could slide these in. Do you remember those?
The cartridge or the box?
They were like sleeves for the Nintendo boxes. Like, they were basically like the first protectors. It's like a green one, but I have
no idea what you're talking about for the boxes. I know what they are. They make clamshells for the cartridges, but I've never seen one for the box. I'll get you a real one, the one that's made in 2021, to properly protect that.
All right, because legit, it's sitting in the back of. I have the 4 Turtles in Time turtles, like when they came out on their hoverboards. So I have that, and then I have the Konami handheld, and then I have that little. It's like the keychain arcade that came out.
$20 thing.
Yeah, so I found one that the packaging was all shredded on for like $10.
That's if you're going to invest in that thing, that's the way to do it. I could not justify. You can only be Donatello on that game too, right? Yep. And I don't like it. I'm not a fan of that thing.
Mitch Falcon in the chat, crazy idea, Cuddly the Cowlick hand puppet, Ella Hand Sharks and Boglins. Dude,
I like that.
Hell yeah. That I was about to make a lewd gesture with my hand trying to mimic the puppeting, and I'm not going to do it. So
he's referencing Boglins. Do you have? We talked about turtles. I can see in your background you've got Transformers, Spider-Man. You've got Marvel Legends. Do you have, other than your turtle stuff? Do you collect other retro stuff? Is there other vintage stuff that you collect, or is it just turtles and then everything else is like newer and modern?
It's a little bit of everything, to tell you the truth, because growing up it was like, cool, this line's out. Might get 1 or 2 guys from that.
Sure.
And then the line's gone. I legit, this whole wall over here is all sorts of just random shit.
Okay, that's okay. That's the way to do it.
For instance, boom, Coop Bruce Wayne.
I don't know who that is. Oh, okay.
From Legends of the Dark Knight. I wasn't a big Star Wars kid. Like Power of the Force, when it came out, we had all of Series 1.
Okay.
But from a garage sale, we got like a lunch bag that had a bunch of vintage.
There you go. Good enough.
Vintage figures. So I had him and I had Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
With the retractables. It's like I have a Magellan hand puppet from Eureka's Castle up there.
Nice. Very cool.
Secret Wars were my jam, like the Marvel Secret Wars figures. I love those figures.
Yep, good stuff. So you've got a ton of stuff. Okay, we just can't see it.
Yeah, it's
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
The Silver Card Toy Biz, the Marvel Superheroes line. Like, I was big into superheroes. I was big into, I always jokingly call them gas station toys, because they would be the lines of like the smaller, like kind of more handheld, smaller, like the packagings would, be like 4x6s or whatnot.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, that you could get, like when we'd go up and visit family or go down to Texas to visit family, you at bigger gas stations, they'd sometimes have like toys on the wall.
Sure.
And like Snailians was one that I know I have like 1 or 2 of. Like I have Conky from the Pee Wee Herman line.
Nice.
And
that's what I've got, the whole Pee Wee Herman set, including the Playhouse and stuff.
Wasn't that Matchbox that put that out?
I want to say you're right. It's a huge freaking playset. It's
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse and Voltron, and outside of cars. I have Bucky O'Hare, but none of the other members. Oh, I take that back. I have Deadeye
Bucky's there.
Aha! I was gonna say mine's right up there, and Jar Jar Binks is riding his shoulders.
I like that's two kinds. There's two kinds of collections. Like when you're collecting that retro stuff, I don't like when people mix a little bit of the retro of the old vintage stuff with a combination of like I've got a whole set of all my turtles are here, and then I've got a combination of Bucky O'Hare with Jar Jar on his shoulders. If you're gonna do it that way, do the whole thing that way. Just mix them all up.
Well, and that's what this is. This is kind of like a hodgepodge. Like Jay and Silent Bob have Steve Irwin standing in front of him.
That's the way to do it. Exactly. Everybody's part of the same universe. That's great.
Like this. So one of so do you remember, I think it was Saturday Morning All-Stars? It was like the anti-drug PSA.
Yep. I was just talking about this on a podcast 2 weeks ago. The VHS goes for $65.
Yes, it does. But it's also free on YouTube.
Okay. I'm going to check that out with my kid tomorrow.
I made Alf.
I was going to say, there's no way that's real. What?
My buddy Riboblito on Instagram does a kit, and you basically mount it onto a Black Series Ewok body.
I was going to say, that looks familiar. The body looks familiar. That's crazy.
Yep. And then I paint them up. So I have done probably 20 of these because my buddy Robo from the Foosh did a play date where he talked about it. And then everybody went to Riboblito and they were like, hey, we want a kit. Like, do you do fully painted? And they're like, no, talk to my buddy Dave. And so I have pumped out more freaking Alfs.
Wow.
But he chills out. I actually have a couple of the Captain Marvel Goose cats that are just like kind of stacked around him. So
hilarious, man. I just made a note in my notes over here to contact Dave tomorrow about an Alf figure.
Here, we'll start building the Saturday Morning All-Stars right here. We got those two.
Okay, the turtle looks dead on about the version that was in the Saturday Morning cartoon. That's perfect.
So, it's like I have them. I have the real Ghostbusters Slimer that Diamond Select put out next to them.
I need to get that. Man, doing this podcast is going to be a mistake for my wallet.
I'm sorry, friend. Dave needs a speeder. No, Dave does not need a speeder bike to go with my vintage. That is a route that I cannot go down. Mitch Falcon, Batman Returns. Dude, so that was from Legends of the Dark Knight, which came out side by side with the Batman Returns figures, because like that's where Robin was in. And like so the Batman Returns guys were, I think, mashed into that line, if I remember correctly. I have the one that like you can dress up as Batman. This one came with the Bruce Wayne sports coupe or something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
I found him in a dollar bin at a show, and I was like,
good enough.
Oh my god, it's ridiculous, and I love it.
And that's the problem with doing those conventions. Yeah, you were telling me you do conventions for the comic stuff. Mm-hmm. I do conventions for video game stuff, and that is the problem. We have access, and we not only do we have access to all the booths, we have access before anybody else is there.
Also, you're making money at the show.
We're rolling in money at the right. It's so much of a happy combination of things that are happening, and for my wife, a terrible thing that's happening at the same time. Yeah, there you go.
So, I always make a point. What I do is, so going in day one, I'll kind of run the floor, like, before the show starts, kind of look around and get an idea. But what I usually try to do is, like, before I go down, I have a running list that's a Word document on my computer. This is my psycho thing. And like, if I see something cool, I'll add it to the list, and I'll be like, cool, I'm going to look for X, Y, and Z at this show. If I don't find them, cool. But if I do find them, I'll pick them up. But I restrict myself to like that.
That's
because
difficult, man, because you don't know what's going to be in that vendor hall. That's
that's like, my friend was like, hey, would you want to try to do Kane County Toy Show next year, but sell your comics? And I'm like, no. I'm like, I would love to go down to Kane County Toy Show, but I'm not going to sell my comics there, because then my brain would be going, I can pick up two things, and I can only
it's too big, right? Kane County, it was last week.
Yep.
We couldn't go to it. Usually I vended at the November show. It was November or December, but it was outdoors. It was freezing in Chicago, weather.
Chicago, man. Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. But it was also a great time. Actually, I can't say it too loud. but I was able to pick up my son's Christmas present of the vendor across the way from us had an original Death Star in the box.
Oh, damn. That's awesome.
But he's sleeping next door, and Santa brought that, so I don't want to say that too loud. So if you can't hear me, I apologize.
Say no more.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, it was a great time, and that was just the cherry on top.
Dude, the one time my like process bit me in the ass was I was like, I'm gonna set that bar way up here. Not gonna be able to reach it. It was the year after the San Diego Comic-Con turtle set came out, the Archie turtle set.
Yeah.
So I've already, spoiler alert, I got it. But I was like, that's gonna be the one thing. If I see that, I'll get it. And it has to be a reasonable amount. It can't be more than like, $50 over retail or something.
That's
like
the way to do it. It may not be possible to stick to the plan, but
I set the bar like right there, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm just not gonna see it. And this dude walks by with it. Like it's like the last day of the show. It's probably about 2 hours before close. And I'm like, I go, hey, man, hey, can I ask you a question? He's like, yeah. I'm like, dude, where did you find that?
Sure.
Like, because that's fucking phenomenal. And he's like, dude, I'm trying to sell it. None of the vendors will buy it from me. And I'm just like, what do you want for it? And he's like, dude, I just want out what I put into it. He's like, I got it out at San Diego last year.
Wow.
So he upped it by $20. And
I'm shocked
that
another vendor wouldn't pick it up.
Well, dude, I was sitting there like, huh? Because I knew the other, like I know a lot of the toy vendors because I do a lot of shows, in the Midwest. So like I know what each one of them carries, and like there was part of me that I was like that close. I'm like, did you talk to so and so?
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like, no. I'm like, this was figure fate. This was meant to be.
That a boy. That's awesome.
And so it came home with me, and I had a severe dent in what I made that weekend, but
still, in the long run, you came out ahead because you set a plan. You were budgeting $50 at least more than that.
Yep.
You did fine.
Yeah, dude. I was stoked, dude. Like that is still one of those scores where I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna start doing this more often.
There you go. Absolutely. No, I love that plan. I just don't think I could stick to a list before going to a show.
Yeah, I mean, there's always times where like you go in and you're just like, you just get dumbfounded by something. Like, I know. You're in Illinois. If you ever get the chance, Kapow Collectibles. It's down off the Red Line in Chicago.
Okay.
My buddy Romeo runs it. It's one of the like literally floor to ceiling, top to bottom toys, like deep. It's not a huge store, but dude has some obscure stuff. Like I'm a huge Spider-Man nut. Like Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles. Those are like my two mainstays of like pop culture outside of like wrestling. And I went in and he had the Japanese Spider-Man figures that were like made off the Mego casts.
Oh wow. Okay. I have no idea what that is, but it sounds awesome.
They were in box. So this is from like the 70s.
Yeah, right.
And he just had them chilling up on the shelf. They were like $200 a pop. But I was just like, Romeo, are those what I think they are? And he's like, yeah.
Romeo, please.
And I said, dude, can you hold this one till the end of the weekend? I'll come back because I was working C2E2. And I'm like, that's going to be my goal. That'll be the big end game. And Kane County was that same weekend. And he ended up bringing them out with him.
Oh, no.
Not thinking because he thought he left one at the shop.
Okay, sure.
I'm like, oh, my heart. And that's not shitting on him at all. Like he
of course, and he's got a business to run. Absolutely,
yeah.
So, have you ever gotten them, or was that the only time you've ever seen them?
It's the only time I've ever seen them in person.
Oh wow!
And like, I go to a lot of shows, but it was that thing of just like, holy shit, like,
right?
That's
sad. Then all right, let's everybody put an ATV out for that. I don't even know what the name of the set was, but
dude, the thing is, legit. I've hit the point of like, nope, I'm good. Mitch Falcon, setting limits good for bars, casinos, and toy hunting.
100%, absolutely.
Right. Thankfully the SH Figure Arts put out a Spider-Man last year, and I picked that up, and I'm like, okay, that's
okay. You're good. Okay, that box is checked.
So it's like I got it covered in my collection, and because like legit those figures are so cool, but I'm like, I would have to leave it on card if I got it on card. It's one of those things where it's like I would feel like the biggest dick of being like, hey, like ripping open.
I'd each your own. If that's you, feel free.
Yeah.
But coming back, I had a couple questions for you. Coming back
man.
to the NECA stuff. I was just curious because I know you're a big fan of all of the, as far as I know, all the lines, the movie, the cartoon, even the arcade stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite set or figures from any one of those lines? Turtles specifically.
Turtles specifically. It comes down to Disguise set and the San Diego 4-pack of movie figures.
Okay.
Because
you're a turtle guy. You're just a straight turtle guy.
Yeah, like I mean, well, like the movie figures, like the movie Star Turtles from when we were growing up, they were cool.
Yeah,
they weren't the movie Turtles. Like Ninja Turtles,
they were their own thing. You're exactly right.
When they're in their samurai outfits and stuff, that was about the most accurate that I would say that series got.
Sure.
These ones look like they fell out of the movie. And
these are the most. You're right. Those are the most unbelievable figures I'd ever seen, and that's probably why I like the mutagen set as well. The coming out of their shells tour, just because they look like they fell off the stage.
Yeah, they're so legit. Like the Mighty Mutagen tour set, it's one of those things that like I would argue that would be number 3. It's number 1 in my heart, but it falls behind the other 2 just because the cartoon and the movie was such a big part of my childhood.
Sure.
And I will say again, like that 4-pack from San Diego, I'm staring at the box right now, is rad. But like I'll grab this real quick.
Sure.
Because they command such a presence. And like this is as close as I will ever get to a friggin' statue in my displays.
I love those.
Dude, the quarter scales.
I wanted to get your thoughts on the cartoon quarter scales.
I don't have them. I because I knew the Disguise set was coming out, I said, okay, I can't do these. I want to because they're just gigantic cartoon turtles. These to me, in my opinion, these big old bastards, these capture such an incredible amount of detail. Whereas the cartoon turtles are awesome, but there's much less detail in this.
To capture, you've probably captured all the detail you can in the Disguise set. You're not going to get any more detail by blowing them up.
But,
I understand that.
It's big, it's smooth. On this, you can look at the individual like skin bits. The skin bit sounds filthy. But like the shell, you know?
Man, look at that.
Like this, you know,
do you have all 4 or you just have Mikey?
I have the 4 turtles. I didn't get Shredder or any of the other guys. I legit.
I may have to get those. God damn it.
I'm so sorry, Mark. I'm sorry. I keep wanting to call you Mark. Tussler, original red turtles. Are you Tussler? So he has a turtle collection that dwarfs mine. Like it is beautiful. We'll get him on here sometime, if that's cool by you, Tussler. He's another Dave, so it'll be Dave.
Okay, there you go.
Dan, Dave. But
Mark,
those original NECA red bands are amazing.
Yep, those are good stuff too.
Movie Star Turtles were great because the rubbery material meant you could pull them apart to play with it, ducked into their shells, and then put them back together.
I never did that. That is
very true.
Was there a little like I know the arms had the little white like peg that would stick out? Did the head have the peg set too?
I think so.
Okay.
I honestly don't remember. I had Mikey, because Mikey was my dude, and then I had a couple of the Samurai Turtles, but I didn't have the rest. Neb Shapiro, man, rest in peace, Jim Henson.
Yeah,
I agree.
Of course. I've got a beater Raphael.
Oh, beautiful.
I mean, you could see you know the peg I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's the ball peg.
Yeah. Should I rip his head off? My son is going to be pissed.
See, I don't know if it comes out. Like I don't remember that part. I remember
it comes out. It definitely comes out. Yeah. So he's
but it's the same. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. So it's not like protruding out of there. Yeah. That's fine. Okay.
I have one of they were called head dropping turtles.
Yeah.
The ones that you could like smash the head in. I had one of those growing up. That I definitely remember I got from like a garage sale. And like he doesn't have a
heyday of garage sale. If I could go back in time, I'd probably just go back to garage sales in like 1995.
Right. Jesus. So just the amount of random stuff you'd find.
Right. How about we talked about favorite sets? This was another favorite set.
Yeah.
And now normally I'm an out of the box kind of guy. This is the Tokon Razor set. Right? Now this set I I haven't even seen them out of the box. I'm waiting on the diorama to come in so I can unbox all of the cartoon set and all of the movie set and get everything all set up the way I want it. So I mean, that's literally going to be like a weekend project.
So I gotta ask. So I know that's one of your favorites. What is your favorite, man? I keep meaning to turn these questions around, then you shoot more questions off. So keep trucking. But
my favorite is probably the coming out of their shells set.
Yeah.
But maybe it's tied with Tokan Razor. I have never had more hype for any figure ever than when they did that. I don't know if it was Pixel Dan that did the announcement, or if I just saw it on the whatever it was, NECA's announcement or whatever they was, when they announced that they were doing Tokan Razor for the movie line.
Yeah, I think it was his Toy Fair coverage. It was either Toy Fair or San Diego.
It was somewhere. Yeah, it was one of those
that popped it. Yeah,
and it blew my mind. It's figures that we never thought we would get. Figures that I'd always wanted. The Tokan Razor Playmates figures were some of my favorites as a kid, and I'd gotten everybody else since then. You know what I mean? We'd seen all the other ones. These are really the figures that got me into the Tokan Razor. Were the ones that got me into collecting NECA stuff. Other than the movie stuff, I should say. I wasn't even on board with the cartoon stuff until Bebop and Rocksteady came out.
Yeah.
At first, I was just like, okay, fine. I don't need the turtles. I saw them at Targets. It wasn't a big deal. But then Bebop and Rocksteady came out, and those are probably those are probably third, because the amount of detail that they got and the accuracy minus Rocksteady's hat on the cartoon set it was just nothing I'd ever seen before. Yeah. And I know other companies have done them, but they haven't done them that accurate. And it really spoke to me, and that's what really kickstarted and then I had to make a choice, because it was like Toka's sharp. Yeah, there you go.
Dude, it is like legit.
I've heard it's thick and sharp. It's hopefully it never falls on the ground, and it would take out my kid. I'd be at the hospital, my kid would not be coming back.
It made my foot bleed. It fell
you did step on it.
It fell off the shelf. And like I legit was I went to like kind of like hacky sack it up. I don't know exactly what I was trying to do, but it just was like, and it just stuck, and I was like, ow.
Man. So back to the Bebop and Rocksteady. When those came out, I wasn't into the cartoon set at all. I wasn't collecting any of them, and I saw those. I was like, if I'm going to get this is a decision. I'm now at a fork in the road. I'm either going to start collecting these or I'm not. And this is kind of what turned me into the NECA Whisper. If you want to, I'm not tooting my own horn. I didn't give myself that nickname. It's not a nickname that I even endorse at all. It's what led to me getting all the access that I have to the NECA stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I need to decide, am I okay with spending, anytime one of these figures coming out, am I okay with spending $25 plus per figure?
Yeah.
To justify that, because that's a lot. I mean, even if you're just talking Turtles, Shredder, Krang, and Bebop and Rocksteady, you're already at $200, and that's just that set. From there, they're creating everybody and their mother from the cartoon. It's going to be $1,000 collection by the end of the day.
Oh, at least. I mean, they have miles to go before they run out of.
I don't even want to think about it. Right? It's
so insane.
My wallet is already crying, and we're not even like halfway through this whole thing.
Dude, there's what, 6 more figures coming from just what they have on pre-order?
It's insane.
It's nuts,
and I can't stop now. Yeah. So I was like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I need to justify it somehow. So I'm like, okay, when I can, I will pick up one for me and another set, and I'll try to flip.
Yeah.
To try to offset the cost. Then I realized that they're not worth flipping.
Yeah.
This is one of the this is, like I said, how I became the NECA Whisper. I became very good at locating a set for me, but then I also wanted that extra set to flip.
Yeah.
When I got them to flip, I realized that you buy them for $56, and if you're flipping stuff, in my world, you need to flip them for at least double to make to cover your eBay fees, cover your original cost, cover your shipping, cover everything, and get some profit out of it.
Yeah,
these things flip for $80.
Yep,
you can't make money on. They're not worth flipping.
Yeah.
So because of that, I start hooking people up, because I'm like, okay, I'm getting them anyways. I may as well. I'm not going to stop picking them up. But now I need to figure out some other way to compensate for the amount of money that I'm spending on this stuff.
Yeah. Dude, my go-to is that I don't spend any money on toys that I don't make from toys. So like whether that's selling figs, whether it's making figs, like doing customs and stuff, that's how this is funded.
Sure, absolutely.
and because it doesn't take anything away from, you know, the general income to the household, you know, it doesn't take anything off their plates. That's always just been the way that I've been. Mitch Falcon has a question for us. Would you guys get the final season Super Mutant forms if NECA made them?
What, can you explain what that is?
So actually, hold on. I will pull up.
Can you show me what that is? Is that like the Peach Shredder? The
hold on. So
there's no way to explain it.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
Final seasons.
This
Sure.
is easier.
They are a thing.
The answer, yes. So Super Mutants.
Oh, okay, I got you.
These were like the kind of weird like manga line. I think this Mitch Falcon. Just correct me if I'm wrong. This is what I've always known as Super Mutants. So I have the 4 turtles from these, and then they did a couple of not those from the cartoon. Okay, never mind. Then I'm wrong.
Final seasons, they radically changed the cartoon, chasing the popularity of X-Men. And no idea what it is. Hopefully you can translate this.
Hold on. Let's see if I can get these to open up. Where? Okay, why can't I share this? Hold on. Let's see. Share. There we go. Are you talking about these, Mitch Falcon?
Whoa.
If so, again,
is this the original cartoon?
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So basically, they Hulk out. Like
they are 100% going to make these.
Oh, I have no reason to think that they wouldn't.
It's too unique not to, assuming that they can work out the extra large tooling.
I think honestly they'd take what they have with Toka.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. They might be more pricey.
Yeah, they'd be deluxe figures for sure.
You want to talk rumors a little bit as far as it ties into this.
Yeah.
As the last pre-orders went up. Did you get all the pre-orders? Did you get all that stuff that went up?
I legit was it Ace Duck and Mutagen Man and Scumbug and Anthrax? I didn't do the pre-orders for.
Wow, risky.
Because not interested. The figure that really I'm interested in from all of those is Ace Duck, and Ace Duck I'm way more tied to the vintage toy.
Okay, so you're gonna wait for Super 7.
Yeah, and if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But I have to imagine it will.
I would think so too. He was up there. The reason that there you go. I like that rationale.
Yeah.
The reason that I brought up the pre-orders is because was it just the last set? Was it just Anthrax and
Anthrax and Scumbug?
And Scumbug. They were higher priced.
Yep.
They weren't $51.99. They were $59.99.
Yep.
So somebody asked Randy on Twitter. They said, is this going to be the price going forward? He said, yes, because of the new retooling and because of the size increase.
Yep.
That concerned me. The size increase. Did you see all this? That they confirmed that they're going to be on a 7-inch scale and that they're going to be the size of Bebop and Rocksteady?
Yep.
What are they doing?
I don't know.
Why are they ruining this line for us, Dave?
And that's what I can't quite figure out. And I don't know if that just means that they're going to do more beefy boys. Like, just the really chonky ones.
But Scumbag and Anthrax are not beefy boys.
Anthrax is because he's a big figure. Like that figure always was a little bit bigger. Scumbug isn't. I would agree.
But on the cartoon, they were much shorter than.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't. Yeah. If they're the size of Bebop and Rocksteady, that's the scale is way off.
It's one of those weird things where, because of that, I'm both grateful and ungrateful because it's one of those moments where it's like, damn, that's gonna kill a lot of these figures for me if they up the scale on them, or
if they don't all if they don't all work together to a point. Like I'm not a stickler. I'm fine with Anthrax and Scumbug being a little bigger, but if everybody from now on is going to be bigger, that's going to be a problem going forward.
No, for sure, I agree, and it's one of those things where it's like Randy has misspoke in the past about stuff like that, so it's like I'll believe it when I see it.
I agree with you.
I have the strange feeling that it might just be they're going to have, 2 bigger figs is going to be a more expensive package or something like that. Or, maybe we'll get.
And I'm fine with that too. If that's the cost of it, that's fine. We're on scale so far. Let's not mess this up.
Yeah. Neb, I'm on that boat too, but at the same time, Randy's done good by a lot of lines. Like I have my fingers crossed that this one keeps on keeping on, because damn, it's been between this and Super 7, it's a golden time to be a Turtle fan, because
dude, figures in general right now.
Oh, dude, yeah.
I can't even fathom how we would get along without this stuff. It's
bonkers.
The age that we're in right now, we have access to everything.
Yeah, dude, especially with the pandemic. I know so many people that got into collecting during this.
Sure.
And it'll be really interesting, because I think that whole like garage sale thing next year, it's going to be hitting that point again where you're like, hell yeah, I want to go to garage sale. I mean,
right? Exactly, because everybody's going to be. Are you saying because everybody's going to be over the collecting aspect? Like that's what they did when they were bored.
I think the bubble is going to burst once the world kind of opens back.
I would love that. Let everybody go back into the fields and play baseball with each other. I'm going to garage sales and we're going to clean up.
You know what I mean? Like it's that thing of it. I'm already starting to see it with some folks. Like in the major group, the major pod group.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of people that all of a sudden it's like, wait, why are you selling off all of this all of a sudden?
We've been in the groups for so long that we're seeing fads come full circle. Like we're seeing people start them and we're seeing people end them in the same loop.
Yeah.
The other rumor that I wanted to ask you about is, have you heard anything about the Rat King?
How so?
Rat King, when he was originally released in Target, he had some of the figures had paint issues on like the groin piece.
Yeah, the rubber piece.
Yes, it was like flaking off or something.
Yeah.
Somebody asked Randy, has that issue been addressed on this new pre-order that was just on their website, I think, last week? Yeah. And Randy agreed. He said, yes, it's been taken care of.
The only thing that I can think of is they switched paints to more of like a latex.
Sure, something that adheres a little bit more.
Yeah.
I would have loved to know this before the pre-order or before the pre-order expired. Like, why say this afterwards?
Oh, the funny thing about that 2-pack was my buddy said, hey, we were talking about the 2-pack of him and Vernon, and I'm like, well, I just really want Vernon because Rat King, in the cartoon was kind of goofy, but at the same time, the toy was really kind of nasty. So I was like, I don't know if I really want a Rat King.
Sure.
And he was like, yeah, man, let's just split the pack. I'm like, okay. And then one of my friends like hooked up a 2-pack. So I got a Vernon and then I got a full 2-pack. So I have Vernon transformed. And then I have a
okay, that works.
Vernon,
all right,
and then I have Rat King with his flute and everything and the rats all over him.
Perfect.
But yeah, man, that the funny thing is I've futzed with that figure quite a bit, and it is when you get him in like dynamic poses, that cracks. But at the same time, I'm like, do I really need Rat King in a dynamic pose? Like, do I need? I
agree.
Have him,
you can easily hide him in the background. There's enough figures that you can bury that flaw.
I just found. Oh, I'm blanking on the name of the vehicle. His sewer ride.
The one from the video game. Yeah, there you go. Yes, the footski.
Yeah, I just found that one, and I'm like, I kind of want to just put him on that and put him in the arcade, like the art with the arcade.
Yeah, there you go. Just be done with it.
My toe.
My kid runs around the house doing that.
Right, dude. My kid got into that for like a week, and then I was like, dude, can you please stop saying that? I think you actually stepped on them. We only need figures from the IDW comic, and I would argue, I totally agree. That's totally what these are for me. The first 2012 turtles that came out, because they're not really on model to the series, but they look very similar to the IDW comic art. They later on did like a more accurate sculpt and whatnot that was a little smoother, but the proportions were still weird. And I agree. Before COVID, the Hasbro like Legends and Black Series, I think was a lot easier to find. I think again with the pandemic and everything.
But it's a pandemic. You got to understand that shipping is a problem from China now.
Not only shipping, but there's a lot more people that are going, yeah, no, that's
that too. Cool. Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's the supply and demand is both growing
in opposite directions, right?
Yeah, it's ebbs and flows, I believe would be the more accurate term. But yeah, it's that weird thing of like right now. Like I have a bunch of buddies who are really into Legends. I just started to getting into like some import figures, like 1/12 scale figures, and I'm quickly going, I can't do this. Like I gotta back the hell out.
There's so much stuff out there, man. It's hard to decide what you want to I don't want to say invest in because I don't want to. I don't think anybody should consider any of this an investment. Yeah, right. I picked up that whole line. I'm not a huge Marvel like I've got an X-Men set for Marvel Legends.
No. This is the Marvel Legend.
What was the other one?
This is a Mafex figure. So this is put together.
Why do you need both? Explain to me why you need both.
Because I'm a psychopath, Dan.
Oh man.
No, so like the cool thing is you can convert this into the Spider-Verse Spider-Man.
Okay.
So like the cool thing is he comes. I just dropped the stupid cup. So he has cloth goods for that and this, but like the articulation is insane. The sculpt is. Let's see if I can get.
I can tell now that you pointed out that it's not the Hasbro. Yeah, that looks.
But you know, at the same time, I was very thankful I had store credit because those figures are nearly $100 a pop.
Mitch says one word: cloth goods sweatpants.
Hell yeah. Neb Shapiro at Mafex is a literal bear trap. It is. Why do you need two? Because Peter B. Parker rules. That's why.
Sure.
So, funny story.
It's not just two.
I have two of the Mafex.
Okay, there you go.
So, it's the only one. Spidey's, like I said, Spidey's kind of, he's top of the walk for me.
That's your boy. So. I love that. No, Is it all Spider-Man over there? What's on that middle shelf?
So that's all Spider-Man. So it's 1/6 scale figures, and then that small shelf is all Legends and 1/12 scale stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So everybody's kind of crammed in there. Again, that's why I'm reworking everything and trying to figure out ways where I can appreciate stuff more. And so it's like, all right, there's a big old purge coming, but that's all right. It'll be good. I mean, like, you know, my Turtle and my Spider-Man stuff, like those are safe. But
there you go. When I say I'm just a NECA and a Playmates guy, I don't want anybody to think that I don't like the SH Figure Arts or the whatever else is out there, the million different turtles that are out there, even like the Funko Pops. I love all of that stuff. But because there are so many different companies that have all these licenses, and there's also just. I'm not just a turtle guy. Like if you look at the other stuff that's out right now, like old is new.
Yes, I would.
Yes, I would as well. If you look at all the stuff that's out there right now, and the old is new philosophy, not even the old is new, is that what was old is awesome right now. Mm-hmm. If you like the old Ghostbuster toys, the ones that come on the blue purple card back,
they're back out.
They're back out. Like the exact same figure. I can't pick those up. I love them. I love seeing them in stores. If I saw a kid picking them up, I'd be thrilled. But I had to make a rule: if they are remaking a toy, which is like half the toys out there, like they remade the GI Joes, they remade the Ghostbusters, they remade the Transformers, they remade everything. If they're gonna remake something and it already exists, if I want it, I need to get the original one.
Question for you, Dan.
I don't. I've seen those and. Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. It's not like there is an original Contra figure, but there's so much cool stuff out there, and I already have so many responsibilities that my wallet is tied to.
Yeah, you got to draw the line somewhere.
That's what I'm trying to do, kind of.
The one that is tripping me out that NECA is diving down, and I'm trying not to knock over like 5 figures. Gargoyles,
man.
Dude, and I love that Randy.
At least they're spacing them out.
And they said they're going to be coming out. None of them are going to be exclusives. They're all going to, and like I'm just like, I don't know if I need another Bronx because this is all I need.
And that's my point. Like, how many Bronx do you need? How many of any figure other than Spider-Man, I guess? How many of any figure do you need in your collection? Like, to me, I had to make a rule. Yes, I want them all, but to justify the real estate and to justify my wallet, I had to make a rule that if it already exists, if it already has a figure, even if it looks different in the current version, if it already had a figure other than NECA Turtles, then I need to get the original one. Otherwise, I don't need it. So I just think the stuff is going to get worse in the next 2. I don't know. Worse is the total wrong word, but I mean,
it's going to explode. I mean, you're already seeing it.
It's going to get more intense. The availability of this stuff and the amount of this stuff is just going to go up and up and up. I almost picked up. I think it was Super 7. They made the reaction My Pet Monster.
Yeah, man.
So, like, do I need a reaction My Pet Monster? I have a real My Pet Monster. Like, I don't need a small action figure of My Pet Monster. That Alf figure that you showed me, like, do I really need that?
It's real neat.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think I do really need that. So it's battling that type of mindset and making sure that I'm trying to take care of all my responsibilities at the same time and making my collection look decent and not just like a pile of stuff.
Well, that's what I'm working on right now. I mean, this is curated, but I want to make it spaced out so I can appreciate stuff.
Sure, exactly. That's what it is. It's one thing to buy it, but then it's another thing to actually like go out and sit and relish in what you have collected and gathered.
Yeah. Well, and Neb actually posted a link to the Contra figures in the chat. God damn it, Turtles, Motu, Batman, G.I. Joe, and X-Men. Like, this is my thing. So if I have a figure of it from when I was a little kid, stuff like this, I kind of evaluate like what is important to me, like what lines. Like, I'm a comic artist. Superheroes win out. I have all the Playmates Wildcats figures on my shelf in front of me because I loved Wildcats as a kid, and I love that team, so it's part of this display on the shelf. However, they haven't done any cool like Wildcats figures like since the Playmates line.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I haven't made them, but at the same time, this is the danger of being a customizer, because
your problem is 10 times worse than anybody else's.
Okay. So you just heard my nightmare fuel. So I know they've released a ton of better versions of this guy. This RoboCop will probably be the only RoboCop I ever own.
There you go. Okay.
It is one of those where I remember getting this with my mom after I had, I'm trying to remember what it was. Like one of my teeth cracked, like in sports. And like, so it got it fixed. And there was this little, like, you know, I think it was called Zoss Drug. And we went over there and I got RoboCop. I still have RoboCop. I have no idea where his gun is. I haven't had the gun since probably 94, but you know, that's enough representation for me in my collection.
That's a great word, representation. How much representation of one character do you need in your collection? For some people, like you with Spider-Man, the answer doesn't have to be one. The answer can be 1,000. That's more than fine. You just need to figure out what your rules are and what's acceptable for your lifestyle.
Well, and that's like Spidey and the Turtles, and then there's obscure shit that like I go back to every now and again. Like, again, with comics and stuff, I like the weird 90s shit. Like, I don't know too many people that go, you know what I want a figure of? Onslaught era Wolverine.
Look at that.
But I made it, and it's one of those that sits on my shelf, and I get a kick out of it.
That's badass.
But you know what I mean? It's that thing of like, well, they're not going to make him. He was kind of horseshit character at that time.
Sure.
But
it has a place in your heart, and you made some representation of it. That's one of the perks of being you. You have that ability. Most of us don't.
Couldn't buy the Hook figures as a kid, so I painted red stripes on a G.I. Joe.
Is that a G.I. Joe? Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh, I mean, legit, I only painted the stripes on him, like, and I need to get a new O-ring.
A new O-ring, sure.
But yeah, so he's
still that's once you see the red stripes, if that's all you added to it, you know exactly who that is. That's wow.
It's goofy and it's stupid, and I love it. Mitch Falcon, I do own Mr. Majestic, and his cape is a son of a bitch. It's a giant chunk of rubber.
Who's Mr. Majestic?
He was basically Wildstorm's version of Superman. He was like an Uber Carabim, which is what the Wildcats outside of Grifter are. That's a whole nother show. Mitch Falcon, Rufio, but a dick. Sorry, Mr. Majestic is the dick. He is.
Okay. Rufio's cool.
A good life affirming way. They're not going to make him until Wolverine appears in the MCU, and then there will be an all Wolverine Marvel Legends line. They've already done that one.
Probably not wrong, yeah.
But whatever. I already have them. Don't need one. I've done that.
Say that now. They're going to do something better on that figure, and you're going to be like, it's only $20. I'll throw it at it.
Maybe. you know, it's slippery fucking slope.
All of it is.
But
I'm staring at these goddamn Contra figures for $55.
Dude, I will say this. The figures themselves are fantastic. Like, I have a buddy who has them because so if it's a video game figure, he picks it up and he has them he has a shelf above his TV, and then he put an LED at the front of it that does like it kind of does the like light waves, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like it changes colors. So he has like Contra, Duke Nukem. He has the Ninja Turtles. He has his old like Battletoad figures. Like he has
That's
them
awesome.
all like lined up above because he's a huge gamer, and it's one of those cool things. You go over and you're sitting there playing a game. He has like the SH Figure Arts Mario guys, like the figures.
Yeah,
that
those
they
are
released.
the great figures. Yeah,
He has a bunch of those set up, and some of like the World of Nintendo ones to like fill
those
in
are good
some of the
figures
bad
too.
guys.
They're cheap but good.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things like when you're playing and you kind of like look up, like every so often, like, damn it.
Right? This is too distracting. It's too good.
Even when you're fucking playing like RBI baseball, you're just like, like, I wants to know more. That spreadsheet blast effect is up there as one of my all-time favorite
It's
accessories.
very cool.
Yeah, those are badass. The one thing I wish I would have held on to more copies of is growing up, my mom worked for a rep firm. And so they were like the middleman between like Target and Konami, or Target and Midway, or Target and Squaresoft. So like promo shirts and stuff would like come through all the time. Like 90% of my clothes like growing up would be like, here's a Cloud shirt, here's a Mega Man anniversary shirt. You know, it's because
awesome.
it was
sure.
And it's like, man, I wish I held on to more of those. But
sure. But you
like,
didn't know
the thing that got me though is they were one of the early companies that invested in Game Informer when it came out.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
So legit from like, that was the thing is my mom worked there at the time. They gave everyone at the company, I guess, a lifetime subscription.
Wow.
And so like legit, we had every issue, and they like followed my mom and dad when they moved. Like
they will hunt you down.
Yeah, and it was to me and my brother. So it was JND Wheeler. And so, yeah, like I wish I would have held on to some of those because, man, it's like old Wizard magazines. You look back at them and you're like, whoa, this is wild.
Oh, I honestly hear that all the time when I go do vending at these video game shows. They look down at my table. They say, "Oh, you know, this is a $600 game. I had that when I was a kid. I wish I would have hung on to it." Or, you know, I had this in the box and it's worth a ton of money now. I wish I would have hung on to it. I always tell them, yes, it'd be awesome if you hung on to it. But how much stuff did you have when you were a kid?
Yeah,
you had room full of stuff, and 1% of it shot up in price.
Oh yeah.
What are you going to do? Hold on to everything?
Well, no, and that's just the thing is it's totally not. I wish I had it. Like it's more so. I wish I could look through that again, and less of like I wish I owned it again. You know what I mean?
Sure. I wish I had some sort of access to it. Yeah.
Mitch Falcon, unpopular '90s Marvel Legend Wave, Cyber Insect Wasp, Teen Tony, Bone Claw Wolverine, and Maggot.
Maggot.
I would go for all of them. Just put and Adam X, the Extreme. He's back. X-Men Legends, the comic brought him back into the forefront, which is wild. Neb Shapiro, Dan, what are those Nintendo powers behind you?
The Nintendo powers. Which way do I need to turn? This
way?
Nope, other way. Let's go this way. Let's go back. This is the first issue and the last issue of Nintendo Power.
That's wild.
I get them out, but they're in a detolf, and I hate detolf doors.
Yeah,
like you have to open them. Like I think Brian talked about this on the Major Wrestling Figure podcast this week. Like the magnets are so strong, that they pull everything off. So I'm not going to take them out, but they modeled the very first. I don't know the years. He was asking the years. I don't know what the years are. But the very first issue looks almost identical to the second issue, or to the very last issue when they wrapped it up.
Because the first issue was like a clay model, and the final issue was a CG render. If I remember correctly.
That's exactly right. And both of them are Mario. The first issue is Mario like jumping on it's Mario jumping on a mushroom with Wart, the big boss from Super Mario Bros. 2, chasing him. And then the final issue is Mario jumping on a Goomba with Bowser behind him. And then all of the like intricacies are the same. Like the Nintendo Power looks the same. All of the graphics are in the exact same place. It's I want to get them framed eventually.
Yeah, that's sick. Sam Elbro, the Build-A-Figure should be chunky Rob Liefeld, Captain America for that way. Very nice. Half of the pieces would be his boobs. Accurate. Oh, Rob Liefeld. But yeah, man, that's the wild stuff about collecting is it's such a crazy open door and to sum it in.
There's so much. We've been talking about this for 2 hours. We have not scratched the surface of even turtles, let alone collecting. Like, there's so much more to discuss and to talk about. And that's why I think we love this stuff. It's not only is it cool to look at and to collect, but it also is great talking points on so many different levels. I love it for all those reasons.
And with that, we did agree we were going to try and cap it at 2 hours.
You got it.
So just because sleep is good, and having a little time with the significant others is always a good thing. So yeah, if you guys like this program, this was Dan and I literally, I think yesterday.
Or the day before. This was very last minute. It
was like, hey, do you want to do this? I was like, yeah, let's do it. So
and look at all these graphics and all the backdrops and everything. This was 100% all Dave. He threw this together in less than 24 hours. I couldn't be more, and all the music and everything. The speed at which you work was blowing my mind when you were running this stuff past me, and it all looks fantastic.
It's something different, and this is totally just a fun thing. Dan and I both have very similar passions in collecting and everything. And it's great that everybody in the chat, so many regulars in there that I recognize from streams past. It's just fantastic. You guys all hopped on. We'll try and have a little bit more notification the next time we do this. We'll figure out, when we'll be coming back. By the way, Dave, what is your name for this one? It's right in the corner. Turtle Talk with Dan and Dave.
There you go.
And on that note, again, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. Tell your friends, if you got turtle-related merch, pics, and whatnot, send them to me over on Instagram or send them over to Dan. On Instagram, I'm at the Dave Wheeler. On Twitter, I'm Dave Wheeler. Where can they find you, Dan?
Yeah, you guys can find me on. First of all, thank you to the chat. You guys were very welcoming to me, the newbie, on this whole Dave's whole streaming family. So I very much appreciate that. If you liked listening to me blab on and on, you can hear me more on the Bitter Marks podcast. Our Twitter is just at Bitter Marks. It's a wrestling podcast where we complain about modern day wrestling, old wrestling. I have a very history past with wrestling, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. Kind of have no clue what I'm talking about, but it's a fun time. Bittermarks, bittermarks.com for all your podcasts there. And then we also talked about garage selling and flipping a little bit here. I also have a podcast called Flips and Bumps Podcast, where we talk about the good and the bad, the flips and the bumps of flipping on eBay, going to garage sales. We talk about garage sale finds. That's flipsandbumps.com and at Flips and Bumps on Twitter and Instagram. Hit me up if you. It's both are good listens. They're good times, and we'd love to have you guys there.
Next time I'll have more notes and stuff ready to jump in the chat so that you can. It'll have all the links and whatnot ready to go.
Oh, sure.
Again, this was kind of shooting from the hip. Tuck, the music was actually a random mix that I had on my computer. I'm trying to find who the original artist is so I can give them proper credit because it's badass. If I remember correctly, it's from the Sega Genesis game, remixed, of course. You'll hear it on the usual. End credits as we go, and there might be a post-credit scene. I don't know, but we'll see. Oh, is that a Bub and Bob slot machine?
Yeah, it's a Bubble Bobble is my favorite. There's a quick look at it.
Nice.
The Bubble Bobble is my favorite NES game. It's the game where you were a dinosaur. If you don't know where it is, you were a dinosaur. You could team with somebody else, and you would shoot bubbles at the bad guy. Once they were in the bubble, you would jump on them to attack them and then to destroy them. On top of that, I have a Bubble Bobble plush from Italy. I have Bubble Bobble 1 in the box. I have Bubble Bobble 2 in the box. Literally my favorite NES game of all time. I love it. The Bubble Bobble slot machine was a random find on Facebook that my sister found for like $100. Said, "Hey, do you want this?" I said, "Of course I fucking want this. Please send it over to me." So yeah, that was just a random score, but it works. It lights up. It plays the music from the game. That's one of my favorite pieces.
Hell yeah. Hankin, awesome. Thank you so much for stopping by, dude. Again, I'll be on Monday on the Foosh channel. That's twitch.tv/thefoosh with Robo for Monday Foosh Live. He'll be on there tomorrow, probably doing Lazy Sunday. I'll talk with Dan. We'll figure out a time that we can get back and do this. It
Absolutely.
Might be weekly, monthly, bi-monthly. We'll figure it out. It'll be fun. It is weird and wonderful indeed. Oh, hey, thanks, man.
Yeah, F talking to you too.
So, as I said before, thank you so much. From me and Dan, we'll catch you later. Keep on collecting.
Thank you.
No, seriously, thank you, and sorry for cutting you off, Dan.
Oh, no, you're
Thank you to
fine.
everybody
I was
who
just trying to put a bow on it with turtle power. That's all good. Oh,
All right, we
good.
out.